NFL free agency surges on. The NFL draft about a month away. We got a lot to catch up here on Splash Play, as we do what we love to do here on the Splash Play NBA channel, or NFL channel. Sorry, I've been doing NBA every day, guys. We're going to dig in. We're going to do a best ball draft today in the big board. $250,000 the first place. Last year, I got 3 finalists. This year, I'd love to win all that money. Of course, we got a big announcement today as well, something we've been talking about for weeks, something I've been working on for weeks. I'm so excited to bring it to you guys. And that is, well, first of all, let's do this part. I am already in a draft room. Second part here, that big announcement. Drum roll. Wait, drum roll, please. It's me hitting the football. I'm also starting really early on the stream because I just wanted to get going. What is the announcement? What is the announcement? The SPAGS rankings are out. Oh, yeah, they're out. The Squirt Squad tier, Squirt Squad VIP tier. You get my readable rankings on the Squirt Squad tier, my exportable rankings in the Underdog. They're available now for you. So that is the big announcement I have for you today. I guess I also have another announcement. Oh, what is going on here? I have the solver thing on, and I guess the solver's draft caddy now works. So that's pretty cool. Sorry, I should show you the tab. I do have a second announcement, but that'll wait till after this pick coming up right here. I'm not good at getting into my content flow and also teasing out announcements. We're going to make it work. Is it Christmas? It is. Every day that I'm here is Christmas. Though actually Christmas is the thing that Alex and I celebrate because during the COVID time, she exposed me to COVID at one point. And as her make good, there's now a holiday, the 8 days of Christmas that we have. Big Spags, what's up, brother? Thank you. I don't want to be Big Spags, but thank you for that. We got Saquon here at number 4, so we'll take that pick. Obviously, Saquon, a player that we've loved since last year, touted him at every turn. Now we're back on the train this year. But obviously, with Saquon, with what he did last year, we are taking Saquon over and over. Whenever we're in these spots, I've been taking Saquon in the 2-hole. I've been taking him when he falls to 3. Here at 4, we will do him again. Thank you. Maybe because all the money I'm winning. I'm also 6'1" and like 240 right now, so I think you can call me big in multiple respects. Though I am gonna get back on the jogging grind. I think I've been training a little bit to get to a regular jogging state. We'll see if I actually keep up with it. Second big announcement though. I'm holding a football. So second big announcement. Here we go. We're doing it for one more year, guys. We're back with Underdog, waiting to officially sign the papers, but agreed to terms for another season. So the good news for me is that it is sort of a move in the right direction for the channel. That shows, I think, the growth we've had here, and I think what we are is an important, and what, hopefully what I am, is an important part of this kind of best ball side of things. Keeping you guys on Underdog informed and knowing what you're doing, hopping in is a big part for me. I had talked explicitly to Underdog about how I feel like my role in the ecosystem is not kind of accounted for normally with how they do deals, where it's all about just getting new people in. It's all about converting people from redraft, from other stuff. Obviously, it's all about also really largely about getting people on a pick'ems, and that's not something I can do in Pennsylvania. It's a little bit tough for me as sort of promoter, but I think with me, like a lot of what I know and what I've heard from you guys over the years is how it's important for me to kind of help you to be sort of like the 201 class, where maybe you start in 101, where you come on board with, Fantasy Flock would be one example I know from a lot of you guys, some other stuff out there, your Sal Vetris, let's say. I don't know if he works with Underdog, but your Nick Ercolanos, whatever your sort of gateway drug is to like starting to do the stuff. Maybe you want to get better at it. You want to be around someone who's obsessively trying to get better at it like you are. That's sort of what I am for it. So that's what I hope to kind of be recognized as, is sort of like getting more people in, obviously, but also being a part of keeping you guys sharp, and frankly, also retaining some independence in terms of what I'm doing, where I like being able to talk about things honestly. I like being able to draft on other sites. I'm anticipating this year we still do some stuff with drafters. I might be doing some things with DraftKings. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out in the back end as well, because I've heard enough from you guys about that. That's sort of what I'm hoping to push the channel to keep being. Obviously, a football focused here year round is always the goal. I have some scheduling things in mind as well. I don't think we're going to hit a full ramp up until after the NFL draft, just because the NBA season's going on. I have a plan in mind, which likely means moving Splash Play to 4 p.m. every day, or 3 or 4. I haven't figured out yet, because I might do 2 hours a day, might do 1 hour a day. It depends. Basically, that's my sort of thought right now is, after the NFL draft, going to go in 5 days a week, doing drafts at 3 or 4 p.m. every day, because that's when most of you guys are online, apparently watching live streams. And then sort of I could stay out of the way out of the MLB content, NBA content that goes on 5 p.m., 6 p.m. And then what I'll also be doing is then doing an NBA show / an MLB show once the regular season ends for NBA. Be doing that around the previous Splash Play time. So I'll be kind of getting it in there so I can cover when MLB has an early slate. I can cover NBA and the playoffs where there's going to be less injury stuff to worry about. cover it earlier in the day as opposed to like before lock where it gets, no evergreen time anyway. So that's sort of the plan moving forward, is really just continuing to throw myself into what we're doing here. A big part of my focus, and just for you guys out there who are not signed up on Underdog, I'm going to go full screen here. Great time to get an Underdog because really a large part of my deal comes down to getting people in and using this promo code. I'm not flashing it at you in a subliminal marketing way, but get that $1,000 bonus. Go sign up there. I'm going to be pushing promo codes harder than I ever had because everything that I'm doing and trying to plan for in both this year and moving forward is going to come down to how well we convert this year. So second part of that, I guess, I don't know where we even are in announcements. Draft rooms now open. I will now not give you shit for being in my draft rooms. I will encourage you to not be in everyone, like let some other people get in, whatever. But I will be back opening up rooms. I will not be giving you shit for being in rooms unless you're fucking an idiot. Then I will be shitting on you for if you're ruining my team. I will also be incredibly mad at you. But I'm now not going to be. I'm not going to be a dick about it because I'm just more encouraged by the deal that I have now to be hands off the wheel and just whatever you guys want to do with me on stream. Whatever you want to do with me on stream. You want to pin me back. You want to time me up, whatever you want to do, but you want to get in my draft rooms, I'm going to encourage you to do it with me because that seems to be important, especially if you're depositing with me. Please get in every draft room if you're depositing with me. I'm trying to tell you how it is here. We're on the clock. Of course, my rankings, you can see Bucky Irving, I have at pick 20. I have done Saquon Bucky pairings in the past, and I don't mind it here. T. Higgins, I don't mind with the deal he got, though very little guaranteed money in T. Higgins' new deal is sort of the pain point of T. Higgins right now. We're going to do a Saquon Bucky start. I like this one. Again, it's not uncommon because I've gotten it before where you take Saquon to the 2 or the 3 and then Bucky falls into that range anyway. But I like Bucky a lot, man. Like, you don't really get many guys who put up 1,500 yards the year before, had a high avoided tackle rate, and he only got a certain amount of work, and like it can theoretically get better. Maybe the Bucs offense just kind of craters this year. Some of the guys are losing, but consistency there, promoting from within, passing game coordinator, Josh Grizzard moving up to be the OC. Like, these are things that I view as a positive. So we're doing an RB Piggy start here. We'll play the GIF. I got to get more GIFs in too. That's one of my other things I got to work on in the background. Or I'm a running back Piggy now. I don't know what the fuck to do, man. 2024 has broken me. 2025 is just a year where if the RBs are there and I like them, I'm going to take them. And frank,ly, like if I'm taking Bucky Irving or fucking JSN, who is way overpriced for a guy that's just added another receiver that's going to move him into spots where he's less good. JSN playing out wide, he can do it, but like it's not where he's going to be his best. I would rather take one of the running backs who I think is great, and I got completely right last year, so we're going to be there again. Thank you guys for the chats. I appreciate it. Yeah, 1 year prove it deal. So, I mean, all my deals have been 1 year prove it deals, but like technically, I would say relatively, I negotiated well. But the thing is, like, I just be candid, like, I'm not going to make as much as some other guys in the space do who are Underdog exclusive and also can really do pick'ems better. So a little bit of an unfortunate thing for me, but that is what it is. So the temptation here is I think Trey McBride is a great wide receiver pick or a great tight end pick right now, can lock down that position. And then to start to spam wide receiver more, I do like DJ Moore a good amount and have him 2 spots at ADP ahead of ADP, as you can see here. I don't really like Tyreek Hill, but at this point he is a discount. I'm just going to go Trey McBride. Because I feel like if I'm taking DJ Moore here, I'm effectively just fully shitting on Tyreek Hill in a way where he can bite me in the ass pretty hard. With Trey McBride, I'm at least locking down the position. I feel good about it. I don't want to go up and get Mike Evans for the same reason. Like, I think if I'm going to take a receiver here, I should take Tyreek Hill 6 spots after ADP, but I'm not going to take a receiver, so I will take McBride. So we're kicking wide receiver down. The goal now is going to be to hit the fire hose on receiver here and get some good guys in. Hopefully, I have good pockets, but we'll see if we can manage it. Look, I'm playing with structure more. I don't want to be stuck in the same, even though I love Zero RB Fridays, and I'm sure that'll make a return at some point. I don't want to be stuck in the same molds this year. Like, I think I have a better read after maxing out this tournament for 3 straight years. Like, I think I know well enough how to hit my pockets, how to make sure I'm filling my buckets of draft capital accordingly in these drafts. That's what I'm going to do more of this year too. I wouldn't say it's a resolution, but it is. I think you'll certainly see more from me. And I'd love a Zero RB team if I can make it work. Wait, do I add these codes for every deposit or just work for first deposits? Only first deposits. I did ask about re-up deposits or, like if you guys want to put more money in, they apparently, and just, again, this is just me being candid about it. I hope they're not mad about it, but I'd like to talk about the stuff here because I think A, a lot of you guys are curious about how this works, and B, I know some of you guys actually do stream and are trying to move up the food chain yourself. They don't like, most companies don't like doing re-up bonuses anyway, because A, they could probably get you to do that themselves. Like they could send you an email and go like, hey, 25% bonus if you deposit now. Underdog does it sometimes on their app. It's like a flash sale bonus thing. So like, I think that's part of it. The other part is like, they don't like to sell losing, I believe is sort of the approach, but it's like, I think being practical about it, you can have a year where like you did, some smart things in best ball and still get your ass kicked and lose the money. So I would personally love to see re-up bonuses for everybody. Because I know some of you guys, like maybe you got killed one year, you did really well the last year before that, you took the money out. I don't know. I think there should be more of that, but every site I've worked with and every site I know of is sort of reluctant to give those for whatever reason. So only first-time depositors, but if you are a first-timer and you haven't been on Underdog before, please take my code. Tyreek overvalued IMO, relies purely on speed, and last year he lost a step. He also just lost the volume. Like, that was a big thing to me. Like, the year before last, he was getting targeted 38% of the time he was on the field, like, playing a snap. So like you're talking about, target per route run being really high, just kind of a guy getting force fed the ball in, the run game a little bit too. Last year, he just kind of became a normal receiver and he wasn't really that great with it. So Miami to me just going the wrong way. Certainly, I guess it could get better. Like Mike McDaniel's smart enough that maybe he can figure something out. But with what they're doing there, I'm not seeing any reason why I should like want to buy in all over again. Besides the fact, maybe you just write off Miami's year last year's, being bad for a reason. Let's see. Take Tyreek every time, so I'm not the guy to answer. Well, there you go. Look, I think Tyreek is still a fair click in the late 20s. Normally, I think I would probably consider taking him at 28. I'm just really not there mentally with him. I mean, let's look through the numbers a little bit. And, well, I don't have the full target per route run numbers. Let's look at the SPAGS rankings here real fast. We'll go back to the board in a moment. And it's hopefully, well, probably going to be hard to see on mobile. It's meant to kind of be sized here for the Google Sheet, where if you click the link, you can read it pretty easily on mobile. But for Tyreek, 0.19 EPA per target last year. For comparison, Terry McLaurin, 0.48. Just the pure efficiency metrics of it all. Like, he didn't accomplish very much there. Besides that, Tyreek, let's see, got a target 25% of the time that he was running a route, 14% intended touch rate, which is not the best. But again, it's like, it's not bad wide receiver numbers. It's just not, it's not Tyreek where he was last year. And obviously you're not drafting Tyreek, thankfully, in that first round, the high part of the first round anymore. Yeah, I don't know. For Tyreek, I'd like to see him be a little bit cheaper, to be honest. But, he's still functionally your wide receiver one, so I'm not going to be mad at you for it. Let's see. What are your thoughts on Jaden going unstacked to basically every draft this year? I don't think it's the most logical thing in the world. Theoretically, if he does have a good year, he's probably going to be getting a good amount of McLaurin. Still, I would assume a good amount of Debo. I don't think he's totally washed. And I do think with that Cliff Kingsbury offense, a lot of the short screen stuff is going to start going his way a little bit more than maybe it did for Eckler portions of last year. So I would say, like, I think there's going to be touchdowns that go around, and you always want to get your touchdowns with your QB. I honestly, I see some people talk about this in social media. I don't love the aging up of the Commanders offense. Like, just signing a bunch of vets. Like, I get when you make it to the NFC title game, the move is you bring in established talent to try to get yourself into that next level. But like, I think they could have done better, like taking Luther Bird in the draft and having him do a Debo-like role. I like Trey Harris, another outside receiver, and instead it's like, oh, let's bring back Noah Brown. Let's get Debo. Like, I don't know. I don't think it fills me with the optimism there that you have the future in mind as much as you should. Okay. So weird spot here. All right. So these guys, no Eagles receivers over here. I mean, somebody could take Hurts, but let's not make that decision for ourselves right now. I'm going to take Zay Flowers. If somebody here were to not take Hurts and he were to come back, I would be happy to pair Hurts with Saquon Barkley. But I think we got to take at least one receiver. Zay Flowers, not a touchdown hound by any stretch. But the way he played last year was still mostly efficient. Had a good share of the yardage, 0.3 EPA per target, 26% target per out run, only 0.4 red zone targets a game, which is not great. Adding a guy like DeAndre Hopkins probably doesn't help him out in terms of earning more there. Hopkins, even though I think he's closer to dust than certainly his peak, he still got targeted a ton in the end zone and the red zone last year by the Chiefs when they brought him in. So that would be my concern for Zay Flowers. Like, you're bringing in another guy, he might just not be that kind of touchdown earner. But with how fast he is and how good he is, like, he should be breaking more plays than a touchdown. So I think he's undervalued at 45. Like, I think he was worth the price tag we took him out last year. He was going around the high 30s at the turn here. So I am still team Zay Flowers for the most part. Hero wide receiver, gritty build to Zay. Is this a gritty build? I don't want to hear that. They did get Michael Gallup. Yeah, whenever you get a formerly retired guy, he's doing pretty well. What are my thoughts? Or actually, no. Jaden Daniels has a good floor on his own. The rushing, his passing will be all his upside, so unstacked is justifiable. It's justifiable. I just don't think it's still the move you want to do for most players. All right, so we got to take Hurts here. Pick 52. I would like Olave. I'm still Team Olave, as I've mentioned. Getting the glow up from Kellen Moore is the thing, but I think we could still spam volume at receiver and get where we need to go. So Jalen Hurts, pick 52. Hurts, Saquon, Bucky, Zay, McBride. We've gotten more unique by taking Hurts here at another discount. Again, the Saquon Bucky start, not unique. Getting Zay here, not unique. The composition, I think, of the team overall will be, and I think I can draft around this. So Jalen Hurts, Saquon, Bucky, Zay Flowers, Trey McBride is a start. Definitely not our usual here, but this room gave it to me. So that's it. I would have considered taking Jalen Hurts. I did say out loud, taking him at pick 45. So get him at 52 feels like no issue at all. I did get an early start today. I did. Sometimes that'll happen here, just because, especially on the Fridays right now, like I'm just sitting around usually. Like if I finish my NBA stuff for the morning, I just kind of want to get going. So this way I could try to get a run in or something, do something in the afternoon. So that's sort of my hope. But I do appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit the notification bell whenever you do want to know when I go live. It'll probably be more normalized when I move to the afternoon, because that's sort of going to be the goal of things. But Splash Play Best Ball Happy Hour will be going off on a daily basis coming up soon. I think Zay is undervalued too. That Todd Monken is passing infinitely more than a Greg Roman offense. Oh, certainly. I mean, a Greg Roman offense, though, for what it's worth, sometimes the Leopard can change its spots, I guess. And he did pass more out of necessity for the Chargers last year. It's like the tendency will be for them to pass less this year if that defense is any bit better, or the run game being better as well would certainly help. But yeah, look, I think that for Todd Monken, I do like him. He does have a lot of touchdown reliance. That's why I'm still taking Mark Andrews, who was, even though that slow start spooked people last year, ended up being a great red zone threat, great touchdown earner. Obviously, the end of year didn't help him out for his ADP so far this season, but he's going back to Baltimore, and he's going to keep getting touchdown targets and end zone targets at a high rate. And then you have Likely, who should continue to be better and keep chipping away at Andrews. So you have a couple legit threats there. Bateman also was a little bit of a touchdown hound on some of those deeper plays. I would love to see Zay get more of those 20 plus air yard throws like Bateman gets towards the end zone. Feels like that's not really in Zay's bag and how they use him in that offense. But another year for him. That'll be it. I've not done any DK best ball, unfortunately. There's only so much I can do. Frankly, I haven't drafted in a week, just to be totally candid. I have been doing the rankings, so I've been kind of in the ADP weeds. But it's with NBA, it's tough. NBA this time of year just takes a lot of brain power for me, and I wasn't doing it last year to the same extent. So that's been sort of the trade-off for me this time of season. But, once we get past draft, I'll be a little bit better. Frankly, my big board rankings, I feel really good about. I know some of you guys already have paid for them. If you do want to check them out, join the Squirt Squad tier down below. And in fact, all of you guys out there, especially if you're a regular, really will encourage you. I know people don't want to pay money for stuff. You're paying for Netflix and their fucking prices going up. $5 to join the Discord. I really do enjoy hanging out in the Discord with the guys we have in there. Would love to get more of you guys who are regulars on there. Only $5 to join. Of course, if you do join one of the other tiers, the Squirt Squad tier or the VIP tier, you get my rankings, which I'm now updating really regularly, more than weekly. It's going to be a thing where basically whenever I kind of have time to sit down and look at stuff, if anything changes, I'll be updating pretty fast is my goal at the rankings this year. So it is more expensive than last year. I'm not just giving you it basically for free like I did last year. But I'm hoping to kind of charge what my time is worth, and then hopefully you guys will get enough value out of it. But I have right now over 120 blurbs in there already for various players, and I do update the blurbs as things change and move around. And I do have the EPA metrics from Sports Info Solutions, ADP stuff. Everything is in there in a way. I tried to make it kind of a useful thing, even though probably should sell it as a PDF or something like some other people. I know Davis does that. I think Zachary Eason does it too. But I don't know. I'm selling it the way I'm selling it. So it's a living document. So that's the trade-off, I guess, if you have to pay a subscription fee for it. So whatever. I don't know. Support the channel. If you can. At least the main thing here. Really just trying to center everything I'm doing around this stuff. And the more you guys do kind of take the promo codes, subscribe, join the Discord, whatever, it does go a long way here. I want to get to not those Pete numbers where you got 4,000 Discord members. That'd be the dream. But give me 1,000. Be pretty cool. 500 of you that are not assholes be a real win. And then we could really start political movements. Start talking about the Tate stuff. Start talking sexual trafficking. I guess you should even say that, I think, on a stream probably. All right. We got Sam Laporta getting taken right before us. Good wide receiver pocket here. Pickens, not one of my guys. Ridley, a guy that I'm taking a lot of right now just because I'm dead in the water at receiver. I don't know that I want to do that again. Cooper Kupp's probably going to keep coming up, but I do have him ranked highly enough already at 76. I am going to go Pickens here. Can't think of a lot of spots where I would take Pickens, but maybe we get Baltimore, Pittsburgh, week 17. Obviously, we're not caring about week 17 correlation yet, but it is a divisional matchup. That kind of thing could happen. Frankly, Baltimore, Cincinnati sounds like the more appealing week 17. Some guys I'll highlight too in terms of rankings. I'm real low on Caleb Johnson. His ADP's fallen a little bit. Like to me, and I know I've said it on every stream, but I have to keep saying it because I know we have new viewers and like they might see the ADP. And it's like at this point, Caleb Johnson is going where he's going because he was going there before. There are now enough backs who I think look better, have more buzz. And I've said before, like Jeanty, wheels up for Jeanty. He's probably worth this pick, even though feels a little Marvin Harrison-y down to exact range where it's going, where Harrison was going last year. Omarion Hampton at 39. I don't love the price tag, but I do think he's another back coming in. Has to pretty much get the role year one to be doing everything on the field, including pass protection reps and being out there on third downs to catch passes, because that's frankly probably where he's the best. And a big body dude. Think he's, as ready to go as Jeanty is. The price tag is cheaper. Henderson and Judkins, I think they're going to get enough draft capital with their athletic testing. And, for Henderson, he's got some pass game juice. The volume from neither guy was that great, so you don't have a ton of confidence there, but at least they're going to be picked high enough. Caleb Johnson, I'm just not sold that's going to be the case at all. So that's my take on Caleb Johnson. He looks okay enough, but he's like a power back that gets stuffed, one of the highest rates in the class. Just not one of those dudes I would really want to get to. All right, so we need another receiver here, ideally. Reed, Ayuk, obviously we got to deal with an injury. We need more projection here. I think I could live with taking Cooper Kupp. I know this might be a little bit high for some of you guys, but to me, Cooper Kupp was down a large part in ADP because of the uncertainty. He really wasn't worse than Devontae Adams last year. I think he was a 0.07 EPA per target. Adams is a 0.09. Obviously, the Rams offense is better, so it does reflect worse on Kupp, as well as the fact that the Rams chose Adams over Kupp doesn't reflect that well. But say for Cooper Kupp, he's now a viable part of an offense that has nobody else to throw the ball to. It's him and JSN. He's probably going to displace JSN from the slot, and that's not going to be good for JSN, but it'll be better for Kupp to get kind of easier targets. I think that for Cooper Kupp, he's in a good situation, so I'll take him here. I think he's got the upside. I kind of think he should be priced more. I think he should be ahead of Pearsall. I might be a hot take, but at the very least, he should be next to Jacoby Myers. So that's where I'm taking him today. I think he helps me out a little bit. RB2 isn't on the Chargers roster. I would talk about Vidal. Yeah, I'd say it's a good possibility, especially with Najee only getting the 1-year deal. If they'd given him 3 for 20 or something, you go, and I don't know, 15 mil guaranteed. I don't know if that would happen in most worlds for Najee Harris, but if they gave him something real, I'd go all right, maybe they're just going to take I don't know, Rashard Smith or somebody who's down the food chain at RB. They're very live to take anybody. They could take Giddens. They could take Harvey. I think they'd probably take more of a bursty guy instead of a power back type. So probably not your Damian Martinez's or something like that, because it'd be really duplicative of what Najee can do. But yeah, I think they're live to take somebody. Who they take though, this doesn't matter. So I just kind of feel like Kupp is dust, but I get it. He did get paid. He got paid, and there's just nobody else who can earn targets there. And I think Darnold will be fine enough in that offense. That's really the main thing for me. Luther Burns, the Caleb Johnson rookie wide receivers, probably doesn't go first round. I think he's getting closer because the RAS score, or the testing rather, for him. The fact that he proved that he was a good enough athlete, ran a fast 40, those were concerns for me because some of the reports out there were that he might run in the 4.5s. If he ran in the 4.5s and he was bad at earning targets and he still had, he had a lot of juice, but he avoided tackles at a rate that I don't think I've seen any wide receiver avoid coming out of college. He has some unique things to him that I think Burden can be good in certain spots, but he's not going to earn you 7-8 targets a game. I think what's more likely is he has a shot at giving you Jaden Reed kind of potential, but bigger size, a little more athletic profile. That's my read on him, but I don't think the comp is incorrect to say he's a Caleb Johnson equivalent. Edwards would make sense. He did athletically profile well. Awful senior year for him. Really awful. Should be fairly easy for these early rookie RBs to land in good roles almost immediately. See, people think that. It's not really true. You have to still earn the job, or you have to get enough draft capital coming in. There's no way that you can't play the guy. The only guys who are going to earn enough draft capital coming in that you have to play him are Jeanty and Hampton. That's it. The other guys, Judkins and Henderson may get close to it, but I'm not sold they get first round capital. I think they, to me, feel like early second rounders, maybe even mid second rounders. But you got to keep in mind, I don't know. I think there's a lot of ultra estimates in this class. I think there's a lot of guys who got decent volume, who look pretty good. And frankly, estimate look better to me in some metrics of some of these guys coming out this year. But you have a lot of guys who earned 20 touches in college, but they're like, they can be okay if they get a landing spot that needs them to come and, to be there and, be ready and able to get a ton of volume, day one. But there aren't a lot of teams that really need that. Like even Vegas, like you have Mostert there. They probably want to use him a little. Like every team kind of has guys that, I don't know. I think it's one of the big missteps that people have said in the class. I've also beaten that drum in every draft stream, so I'll spare the people who watch every one. But I think the way that this rookie RB class has been evaluated by people creating content out there and also just, frankly, a lot of people is just incorrect. You have to be historically great really coming out of college or, really great in a lot of things and then have the great opportunity with your team you're going to kind of have that, that outlier outcome as a player. And I don't know, in year one especially. And I just don't think there's a lot of guys who are going to get that. We got McMillan here. We got Downs here. No issue with that. Andrews could be fun to get a Baltimore stack without the QB and have that go against Jalen Hurts in week 17. That's tough. I like McMillan. I like getting a share of the Tampa Bay offense. I think, too, with these three receivers, we're hoping we have a little bit of a baseline to work off of, and McMillan then can spike for us weeks where we see Godwin not get there, Evans not get there. So we'll take the shot on Jalen McMillan. Baker Mayfield went crazy early here as well. He might have been a fun QB2 to pair. He does fall often enough in rooms. Really wouldn't take Baker Mayfield in the 70s, even though he's totally worth it. People should let him fall to the 100s way too much in the big board. But yeah, anyway, McMillan I like. Probably a little bit overpriced where he was going before, but that's that. Thank you for Kendrick. Congrats, Spags. No one is more deserving. You are a beast in the best ball community. I appreciate that, Kendrick. And now we're going to get back to doing some more volume on here now that we've gotten through that part. And again, hopefully more to come. I'm hoping we can get drafters in for sort of regular drafts. I don't know who to contact at DraftKings. I've been trying to work some back channels. I know there's maybe a potential partner that I can work with on that too, that I'll see what happens with it. But my goal is to try to do 3 platforms this year, but we'll see. But obviously Underdog being the big one. So we'll see. Shout out Tyler being here. Glad to see him. Saw he was doing a stream with the other Tyler and Best Ball Guy, I think it was yesterday. I saw Tyler was shirtless on the Ship Chasing channel. The Discord, rather. All right, so we got 1, 2, 4, 1 here. You don't go to the Ship Chasing channel looking for Tyler shirtless. You won't find it there, unfortunately. Shaheed, Mooney, logical picks. Again, Andrews falling down ADP a little bit further, definitely behind my rank, but I think we want to get a good receiver in here. Shaheed and Mooney, to me, very similar clicks. The Kellen Moore of it all, good. I love Penix with what he did at the short sample size. I don't think I've given enough of a vocalization to how much I love what Michael Penix did at the end of last year. I enjoyed that Atlanta team. I stacked up Penix a lot, week 17 or whatever it was, last week that mattered. I think that situation is fun in Atlanta, and I think another year in that offense for everybody is going to be good. So I have no issue taking Mooney, but Shaheed, Kellen Moore, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Penix can spin it. He can. He was a slinger. As long as he went somewhere that was going to allow him to sling, I think he was a player I would have been into. He did have some flaws, and his approach, like he wasn't as good as Jaden, which I had said the moment we looked at the data back in January of last year. But I think for him, like he's still better than a lot of guys. This is gonna be a hot take that people are gonna want to hear it. I would probably take Penix's future over May's future. And May's a little bit younger, so that kind of comes out in the wash in some respects. But May going into a regressive New England offense right now versus Penix in a team on turf that's got real weapons that's going to sort of allow him to blossom. I think he throws for 300 yards a lot next year. I worry a little bit. You get the CJ Stroud side of the equation a little bit there, but that's sort of my concern point for all this stuff. Shout out to Deones. Deones back in the family. Love to see it here. Deones, get in the Discord. You can bother me again. All your thoughts. No, hop in, Deones. Deones will be an active contributor, so please get in there. Glad to see you joining on board here. And again, guys, I'm going to flash it. Be prepared for these full screen graphics. The good news, guys, I could do shit. I could be nude off screen right now, and you don't even know. But join the Discord. It's that link down below. Of course, if you join any tier here on the YouTube channel, you get added automatically to the Discord as long as you click the link down in the description. But it is a great place to be, and I'm trying really hard to make it a better place. And, that's really the hope here is we're trying to build our own little island, and I'm trying to not make it weird like some other little islands of fantasy get. That's my hope. I want it to be a nice place we can all have fun, do things, putting the fun back in drafting here. And do subscribe, guys. Get ready to click up the amount of content coming up here. And that is the promise for sure. And once we get into BBM season in particular, I've got a lot of ideas in my head that I'm going to really try hard to see through this year. I mean, I think that includes, and tell me what you guys want to see too, but I think we're going to do return to Spag stacks, probably not in a BBM. I think I'm going to do those as puppy drafts. But I think I've heard enough from you guys last year. I think we're going to bring the wheel back, going to make that a regular feature. I think we're also going to make guest streams, at least a weekly feature on there. I'm looking to try to figure out who's a good frequent collaborator. I'm going to try to figure out who would be a good one-off kind of thing and try to do some guest booking. But I'm going to try really hard this year. Like last year was trying hard to get good at gambling. I was also running a startup at the same time. This year, I'm going to try hard to make this the best content I can. And it's going to be different than like what Davis does. Like I think Davis Maddox to me has like been most, I'm going to say inspirational, but I don't think that's the right word. But like the hustle that he puts in, trying to, get people on every day and all that, I think is really impressive. I don't think I'm going to do that. Like I still want to talk by myself for the most part for most days. But and that's just the difference between us, I think. But like I also want to start to see what I like that other people are doing, try to do more of it myself. So that's the hope. And I do think for the happy hour streams, they are going to be going on at 420 for a reason. I have no limitations on how I can promote things. So I think we're going to be doing some interesting stuff certain days. Spag stacks puppies. Yeah, it's putting one puppy on top of the other. But yeah, that's fun. And frankly, might get more clicks if I put that as the title. Speaking of fun and drafting, nothing says fun like stacking George Pickens with Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph fed that fucker well. I'll tell you what, the one time that he needed it, he did his job. I think, and I've said this on Discord as well, I think Mason Rudolph is quietly a very good addition for Pittsburgh. Like, I think that he's the kind of guy who's not going to fuck up in the way that Pittsburgh will like. He also will take his deep shots. He'll take a lot of check downs and the bullshit and just hand the ball off over and over again like Arthur Smith will want. But if they don't get, if they don't get Aaron Rodgers, and it seems I don't know what the fuck Aaron Rodgers is doing. He's costing himself every job if he wants one, if he even has a shot at one at all, which I'm a little bit skeptical of. Like the Giants don't seem to actually want him. Pittsburgh, it seems like maybe does want him, but mostly because they don't have anybody else. Minnesota doesn't seem to want him. I think that for Pittsburgh, though, if they go with Mason Rudolph and Jalen Milroe is the guy, because he's already been meeting with the GM, meeting with Tomlin. I think they had dinner together. That's kind of fun to me. Like, put Mason Rudolph out there, let him start. He might just get you to 10-7, whatever, and make you the playoffs, and that's fine. Or you could just have him keep the seat warm for Milroe to become something competent, but that's it. Going well, Charles. If you missed a big announcement, yes, we're back on Underdog for another year, so that's a big thing for me. And my rankings are out, so multiple big announcements coming up. But also some time and changes here on Splash Play. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Hopefully you'll see the content in your feed anyway, but going to be doing some different stuff around here coming up. Steelers are head over heels with Milroe and Higgins. Jaden Higgins? They have no need for Jaden Higgins right now. That would be an awful pick for him, for them. Like, you don't do that when you have Pickens, unless you're going to squeeze Pickens out. But you have Metcalf and Pickens. They're already duplicative. Higgins is the exact same thing. Don't do that. We got 1, 2, 5, 1 here. Yeah, we got our Jalen Hurts. It's unstacked right now, but I can live with that. I think we still need to throw more at receiver. I've not been taking a lot of Keon Coleman. I might not even have a share at this point, but I'm going to get one here. Keon Coleman, not an exciting player, but with them adding Josh Palmer, what he and Shakir do is very similar. What Keon Coleman does is not similar. Keon Coleman being a boundary guy, a go up and get it guy can get some end zone targets and make him count. I think he'll be better in year 2. He did have those skill sets at FSU. Frankly, those were the only skill sets he had, and that's why I wasn't that big on him. But like, I think having a year in that offense, they clearly wanted to get him on the field of points. I'm okay with taking a guy like Keon Coleman. In this spot, I would normally take Keenan Allen, but I think it works well enough here. It's a money hat every day. It's just a brand now, Bindles. Yes, I wear the money hat every day. I might stop at some point, but now it's like I've done it for so long, I need to keep doing it. It's on the thumbnails. Like, I don't know. I know it's an effective brand, but it is a brand. 1, 2, 6, 1 here. This is a tough spot. Not anything I really love. No natural stack partners either at this point. Herbert, not a bad QB too. I think we could have pushed QB more and tried to take Darnold, Carr later, but we got a discount on Herbert here. I don't think Dobbins does a whole lot for this team. I don't need to reach up even further for Tajay, who already have ranked about 7, 8 spots higher than ADP. So we're going to go with a 2, 2, 6, 1 build here. Again, we got a really strong top 2 at RB. I think I could keep kicking RB the entire time and be okay with it. Hurts and Herbert at QB. Again, big discount on Hurts, big discount on Herbert. Barkley, Saquon, that is, not to be confused with Charles. Why would I draft Charles Barkley? Why would you even think that? Saquon Barkley and Bucky Irving. Wide receiver, we have Zay Flowers, George Pickens, Cooper Kupp, Jalen McMillan, Rashid Shaheed, Keon Coleman, and a tight end, Trey McBride. So we had to make it up at receiver. That kind of cost us more natural stack partners, like going Kyler Murray, perhaps, with McBride. But I'm okay with that. Like, Herbert showed me enough last year. I was really concerned about that offense. And the fact that the Chargers did sling it more than expected, I think works. I think it would have been a little more logical to pair stack, but we're just getting good QB talent in. Palmer is the perfect Bills wide receiver to get 45% of snaps. He is. The thing with Palmer is, like, you can move him around. He can do different things. He can play out wide. He can play out of the slot. He did that very well when the years where Mike Williams and Keenan Allen would alternate getting hurt. It's like, I like Palmer, and the fact, again, they paid Palmer pretty well. Paid him, Darnell Mooney adjacent kind of deal last year. And similar to what Shakir got. So, like, clearly they're valuing him coming in. And frankly, like, they needed a guy, I think, like that to get into space who isn't just Shakir. Like, they wanted Cooper to clearly be a better version of Keon Coleman. They couldn't get there. But now Keon Coleman hopefully better in year 2, and then Palmer being useful. So I don't know. I'm cool with Palmer with where he's going right now. If he started to go like around Hollywood Brown right now, I mean, honestly, who do you rather have, Palmer or Hollywood Brown? I don't think it's as far off as the ADPs are personally. But I also am not crazy about Hollywood Brown. There you go, Tyler. Tyler checking in. Appreciate it, Tyler. And yeah, if you ever want to talk about the things, let me know. Tyler and I, of course, love to talk shop in general. But appreciate all you guys being here. Again, if you're just watching live here, we're getting back in the grind of things here on Splash Play. Going to keep a regular cadence heading into the big board, then things will ramp up more. But please do subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. Of course, hop into the Discord. You can see guys like me, guys like Tyler in there, guys like our guy Robert Griffin III, and all his always very appropriate things that he makes me read on stream. It's been a lot of fun having the channel there. Nice being able to talk to you guys more and just being able to kind of get general thoughts out about a basketball slate or an NBA or a football slate. Obviously, we talk about those or any basic news items we have out there. But yeah, it's honestly like I wish I'd started Discord earlier. I just didn't want to compete with Pete's stuff, but now we have a kind of a need for it given the fact I'm putting out data stuff. Bashal Tootin here going at fucking 139. I think still will believe that's one of the worst clicks in a draft. Like, as much as I may not love Caleb Johnson at 80, and I think that hurts you more than Tootin does at 139, it's just so frothy for a guy for really nothing substantive. We did accomplish one thing here of pushing Dallas Goedert all the way around. All these guys need a second tight end. Goddard could get traded. So, like, I don't need to grab Goddard here. I think let's make ourselves better at RB for now. I do like Trey Benson enough. As I've talked about enough times on stream, James Conner to me is a player. Loved him last year. Thought the price was great. This year, the price a little more aggressive. And I do think there's been a real committed sort of coach speak from Jonathan Gannon so far about making Trey Benson a real RB2. Benson showed more last year than there's no reason to talk about him in season, but then I think that anybody would have talked about him, and myself included. 0.01 EPA per rush, not bad. Would be a little bit nicer to see that be higher, given the fact he didn't get a ton of volume. 0.54 EPA per target, though, is actually pretty good, and he was supposed to be good in the pass game, based on the numbers that I felt good about coming out of FSU. Also, the 21% avoided tackle rate, which he wasn't a guy expected to have a ton of juice, and he had it. So I think for me, Trey Benson is one of those players that not guaranteed a role, but I expect him to ascend a little bit. Connor obviously kind of fell apart down the home stretch, and we did get them to kick Goddard all the way back around. So we've accomplished that. So I'm just going to take Goddard here. So a 2-3-6-2 build now. Have to add a few more RBs, but we spent so much capital early that if it doesn't work out, the team is fucked anyway. So we got Jalen Hurts and Justin Herbert. At RB, Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving, Trey Benson. At wide receiver, Zay Flowers, George Pickens, Cooper Kupp, Jalen McMillan, Rashid Shaheed, Keon Coleman. And a tight end, Trey McBride and Dallas Goedert. I feel like tight end we could be done at. Adding another one might not be bad, but an 11-pick discount on Goddard. Really nice ADP values besides me reaching for Kupp, but that's where I have him priced anyway. I like this team. It's a weird team. Obviously, the stacking, I didn't go out of my way to kind of set up in advance, but I thought the Herbert discount was too much. And I think we have some backdoor ways to stack that a little, too, if we want. Gotta go to the Chargers. Hey, that'd be nice. That'd be a real win-win. Now that you're drafting more, have you established any flag plants? You always ask me about flag plants. I don't really have flag plants in that way. The guys, I mean, the rankings would be the way to see it, I guess, would be to compare the two. I don't know. Here, let's go to this tab and let's sort. Hold on. Hopefully I could sort on this one. SPAGS rank versus ADP. Yeah, I can't sort it on the sheet, unfortunately. Basically, this column in my rankings would tell you the ones I have the biggest discrepancies on. CeeDee Lamb, I'm 5 spots after ADP. My highest on 7 spots ahead on Chris Godwin. I would agree that would be I would say a flag plant. Though to me, a flag plant's like a guy I'm going on my way to get in every draft. There really isn't anybody. Bucky at 20, I would say is probably a flag plant. Cooper Kupp, I've got 12 spots higher. Najee, I've got 10 spots higher. Fields, 16 spots higher. I do love Fields and the current configuration for the Jets. Really low on Diggs. Don't think you should be taking Diggs right now. Cam Ward would be my rookie QB flag plant. I like Dart a lot, but I know Ward's going to go. I think he goes number 1 no matter what. But I've thought that the entire time. Seems like the reports are now kind of supporting that. Jalen Royals, I've got 19 spots ahead. Palmer, 10 spots ahead. Ertz, 8 spots ahead. Eckler, 9 spots ahead. Marshawn Lloyd, 30 spots ahead. No surprises there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't view stuff in the way that you want me to tell you it. It's unfortunately my issue for it. But I appreciate you asking, Deowens. I just like, it's not ever really the way I view the stuff. Like even last year, I wouldn't have called Jaden Daniels like a flag plant. It's just a player that I think is really undervalued, who I think is going to do well relative to ADP. And I would have said the same for, Bucky, same for Marshawn Lloyd on the fail side. Troy Franklin, I did back down off of after the initial reports not being there. But yeah, I think the thing is just the way we view it. Like to me, a flag plan is like, I don't know, something I'm going to bend the board for and try to get the guy at a crazy amount. To me, these guys are like 25%, 30%. Like that's just I would say it's more having a stand, I guess, like, or having a lean than it is like a flag plant. I think like the way that guy Gritty drafts is like flag plants. Like that's like, man, these guys, I can't imagine them not doing well. But that might just me being caught up in my own head about the phrasing of it. So I apologize, Deowens, if I'm not serving that answer well enough. But if you're going to count those guys as flag plants, I don't know that I have one like that besides the guys I mentioned. Yeah, that would be getting closer to a flag plant, yeah. Especially if you're like grabbing them ahead of ADP and you're like kind of upsetting your draft board just to get a share of that guy. I would say you're getting more to flag plant territory for sure. We have a 2-3-6-2 here. Honestly, decent little pocket to try to target late season RB play. Would also have been a nice target or nice little pocket to try to get to some other QBs, but we went the way we went and I could live with it. All right. Where are we on board right now? They're going to be able to come back all the way around. So Ray Davis, I think, is going to come up a little bit because my guess is that James Cook holds out. Blake Corum is contingent value. Tyler Algier, mostly contingent value. The issue for Ray Davis is like Buffalo could fall in love with another back in this class, and like that guy might be better than Ray Davis day one. But I think in this kind of build here, we have sort of the Bucky Saquon projection floor there that we know we feel good about. These guys, at least one of them should be making a lineup every week. I would imagine 2 of them will be making it more weeks than not. Benson and Ray Davis, I think, is pretty good. Because of the fact that like these 2 guys, if Benson is in a timeshare this year with Connor, he's really undervalued at 141. Ray Davis, I think, has a shot that Cook might hold out into camp in a meaningful way. Because like Cook wants to be paid like Saquon got paid last year, and then Saquon got paid again. Cook thinks, from what I've read, it seems like Cook thinks he's worth $15 million a year. I would strongly disagree. If I were Buffalo, I would be like, no fucking chance. You're not even worth close to that. So that's one to me that I don't know. I have Palmer and Royals ranked closely. I do like the upside of Royals, but this team needs a little more concentrated production. So we're going to add in 2 shitty low target share Buffalo guys, but I do like this approach of getting Keon Coleman and Josh Palmer here. So a 2-4-7-2 build. Gonna have to add some more RBs. We're okay with that. But I think we needed to keep digging in at receiver because we started so late with Zay Flowers being my first receiver off the board. Let's give the team a read here. We got Jalen Hurts and Justin Herbert at QB. At RB, Saquon, Bucky Irving, Trey Benson, Ray Davis. At receiver, Zay Flowers, George Pickens, Cooper Kupp, Jalen McMillan, Rashid Shaheed, Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer. So only really one true wide receiver one here, but a lot of guys who should be in situations that there's something projectable to their target share. That's how I think we can make up the room, even though I hate not having that like really concrete high upside guy. And at a tight end, we have Trey McBride and Dallas Goedert. So obviously Goddard currently stacks up with Jalen Hurts. I don't really know why Philadelphia wants to trade Goddard. Like he played well down the home stretch. I guess he might want more money and they don't want to pay it to him. But like he was honestly back to the year before last Goddard, where he looked great 2 years ago. This year is back to a 0.31 EPA per target, 25% target per out run, would put him very competitive with Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith was actually lower at 24.5%. Like Goddard did what he had to do last year. If I were a team that needed a tight end, I'd trade for him. Let's see. We're going through all these chats here. Sand makes total sense. Can see how flag plant's a little too buzzy of a term. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just, it's more like the thing to me is like, I don't ever want people to tail something for me and go like, this is gospel, like go 100% this guy. Even our rankings, like I do encourage you guys really to fall to ADP first. I try to align things to ADP, but like, I don't want people to be like, to be on the hook for my stands. And if they're not the best stand in the world, like you should still be balancing things. And that's generally how I view best ball, because you could get so many things right. Like I said last year, my biggest fear was like, I get a lot of my biggest takes right and I still don't win huge. I finished well enough last year, having top 75 finish almost in the big board, getting 3 finalists across, didn't get the BBM finals, but had a good finish in drafters and the playoff stuff as well. Like I had a good year overall. So like, I think, I feel good about overall that approach that I had. But still, like, it didn't win me everything, even though I got things a lot more right than most of the industry did. So that's the thing to me that's tough. Is like player takes only carry you so far. Still comes down to structure. Still comes down to the brick draft caddy and how it shows you your buckets of draft capital. Like I don't have access to that, but like that's a tool like that's probably the most valuable. Where it just comes down to like, did you get the right combination of players and assign your draft capital accordingly for each position? That's really what best ball is. So I'll give you guys like the fun takes and all that as much as I can. But I also I don't want people to like just draft off of like quote unquote flag plants when there's so much more nuance to the things on that. It's probably why I get weird about it. Money, that's why Philly was shopping Goddard. I mean, look, I get it. If he wants more money, he deserves more money. It's also fucked up. Like, so Philly, one of their things, there was an article about it this week as well, is how they pay guys ahead of their contract normally because like they're trying to keep the stars happy. They paid Lane Johnson, gave him a new deal, obviously gave Saquon that new money earlier this year. Like they are paying the guys. So if I'm Goddard and I've been a good player there for years and I've been a standout tight end and, this year I was back doing it and that Saints game he had was one of the best tight end performances of the year. In terms of like, there was nobody else out there who could get open and he got open and he kept getting open and he kept getting open and he made it work. So like, yeah, I think he deserves to get paid, but we'll see. I mean, they're looking at trade offers. I don't think anybody's going to trade that much for him personally. Should have taken more Bowers, only had 18%, but 35% big board. I still think you're right to not go nuts on the guys. I have a blurb on Bowers that I think Adam's not going to love in my ranking stuff, but I'm looking through Bowers' numbers. I'm a little more concerned than I was living in the moment last year, and he's great. So I want to believe that he'll be used better in a new offense, but I'm not sold that the guys are bringing in for Vegas, the Pete Carroll offense, and that's never used tight end that well. I'm not sold that it's going to make it good enough for him. I don't know. I like Bowers a lot. That Bowers ADP is tough, man, because like everything has to go right for Bowers for it to kind of make sense. We're on the clock here. All right, so some of the guys I was thinking about taking last time are still here. Jalen Royals, to me, again, a good click. I really have no issue with it. So Jalen Royals, come on down. I think he's a talented receiver. I think he has been the most – nobody talks about Jalen Royals in content. He, to me, looks like a very ready receiver year one. I think your big concern is that he's going from Utah State to real competition, but you got to take the leap when the guy's a good enough athlete, has good size, ran a 4.4, good RAS, did what he had to do. Let's see, reading through all these chats here. If they want to trade Goddard, is Calcaterra getting any steam? No, and I still wouldn't take Calcaterra. If they got rid of Goddard, they would probably draft one of these tight ends here. I feel like you have Calcaterra maybe bringing in Elijah Arroyo, because I don't think Arroyo is actually going to go first round like some of the experts do. If I had to guess, he goes like third. That's the kind of spot where I think you can go with him. Hope you develop him as a pass catcher more. Frankly, there's also probably going to be scrap heap tight ends that come out at some point. Bowers will destroy the rest of the tight ends' positional dominance. You're paying every bit of it though for his ADP. That's the issue. It's like, yeah, if he were going right next to McBride, you want to say that? Sure. I mean, I'll look at the numbers in a minute. Like, I'm happy to kind of dig into it more. But like Bowers, I mean, let's look at it in a minute. Well, let's make this pick. We have a 2-4-8-2. We've made it up at wide receiver well enough for now. I am going to go Marshawn Lloyd here. I think that Derek Carr would be okay as a QB3, but yeah, we have Hurts. We really shouldn't need one. Hurts, though, did show some floor last year, but New coaching staff on offense. We'll see what he get. Let's read the team here, then I'll dig into this Bowers stuff more. We got Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert at QB, Saquon, Bucky, Benson, Ray Davis, Marshawn Lloyd as our RBs here. So again, just going a lot of contingent upside after we have sort of an established floor with Saquon and Bucky. At wide receiver, we have Zay Flowers, George Pickens, Cooper Kupp, Jalen McMillan, Rashid Shaheed, Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer, and Jalen Royals. And a tight end, Trey McBride and Dallas Goedert. So love McBride here. Feel good about that pick as an elite tight end. And again, I think that range too, being late 20s, still feel good about that pick overall. But that's how we're going right now. Check out all these chats. Watch the Spags in Vegas with my 10th anniversary with my wife before she wakes up. Feels like a great way to start a big day. I love that. And happy anniversary. That's awesome here. 10 years is nothing to sneeze at. What draft is that? What gift is that? Because like the anniversaries all have weird things where like your first anniversary is like the paper one, right? So what's 10th? Actually, I could look that myself. 10th anniversary gift. So it's not telling me the thing. Oh, okay. Tin or aluminum, which symbolize the strength and resilience of your marriage. So, all right. So there you go. So get her some aluminum foil. You call it. You imagine? Hey, happy 10th anniversary, baby. Here's some foil. Maybe it's always a new diamond. We're gonna be a stereotype. Really like Marshawn Lloyd this year. Should have the back Barbie spot locked down. I hope so, but they could also easily find somebody else who comes in and class could really upset things. And frankly, his lack of availability wouldn't shock me if they draft one of the other RBs for cheap and you have like a real threat to his ability to get time. But I would take the shot still for free. Shout out Easy Mountain Man. Appreciate all your informative content. Got to go to work. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. You guys, hit that like button, hit subscribe. Again, I'll be here whenever notification bell goes off. But also, again, more regularity coming up here, in particular post BBM. I'll have more details once I kind of work through it all in the back end. But a lot more coming up here. And of course, my big board rankings out now. If you want to get them, if you want to join down below, join the Discord. Do that, $4.99. And get my Squirt Squad tier down below if you want to get my rankings with over 125 blurbs. And by the end of the year, it'll probably be like 300 to 400 blurbs based on where we got last year. Honestly, might even push it to 4 to 5 this year because who knows. All right, Bowers. What concerned me about Brock Bowers? So low EPA for Brock Bowers, 0.14 EPA per target. Obviously, the offensive environment, not great. Target earning was great, 27% target per out run. Red zone target earning, good, 0.9 red zone targets a game. Could be better, could be worse. Deep targets, 0.7 deep targets a game. Good for a 0.6 EPA, not bad. But really the low EPA overall kind of worries me because like I just don't know he's going to get a more efficient offense this year. For McBride as a comparison point, not Dwayne McBride. Dwayne McBride got cut from the UFL, sad day. Trey McBride, 0.3 EPA per target, so roughly twice as efficient. Target earning was better at 28.5%. He's a year 2 guy, though. So you can make the case that like Bowers will get exactly there next year. Is that right? No, only 0.3 deep targets a game, so a little bit lower. 1.4 red zone targets a game, just based off of what these guys did last year. And that doesn't account for Bowers being better in year 2, but it also doesn't account for McBride being better in year 3 and the offense making more sense with how they use Harrison, both for Harrison himself and to set up McBride better. And also McBride's run bad with touchdowns last year. Like that also is going to come out a little bit. Like McBride was better in a lot of categories. And I think if he's going 11 spots later, I don't know. I'm willing to take that shot. I'll still take Bowers. Like I have no issue doing that at his pick. But I think you kind of have to look at these guys a little more holistically and go like, well, what do you get for McBride versus Bowers? And like you get worse QB play. You get a team that we have a lot more question marks about, I think, than Arizona. I mean, maybe you guys feel differently. Geno is old and his team didn't want to pay him what he's worth. Like, I don't know. I think there's things to worry about. McBride is due for more TDs. That's true. And Bowers is get a big OC. And I mean, does he get a big OC upgrade? Because the second half of the season, the offensive play calling was not that bad. And we're running just Pete Carroll bullshit back, which has never been the most explosive. So that's what I would say too. Shadur Hate is real. He's going to be a locked-in starter all year. I don't know if he'll be a locked-in starter all year, but he'll get there. He'll get there this year, and I think it's all been a bigger deal. The shitting on him has been made a bigger deal than it probably should be. I mean, 2582 here. Decent pocket for really anything we want to take at this point. Yoshevich goes. All right, so we have a 2582. I think a third tight end makes sense. We do have the New Orleans stacking without the QB. I'm going to go Juwan Johnson here. I was shocked. I know I've said this on stream before when we first did a stream after it. I'm shocked how much Juwan Johnson got paid. Like, fully shocked. Can't believe that he got paid that much by the same team, especially. I don't know what he did last year to deserve it. Like, look at the numbers. 0.3 EPA per target, not bad. So we're talking about Dallas Goedert range. 17% target per out run, so much less target earning. Red zone only got 0.4 targets a game. There were so many games where like Foster Moreau did better things. I'm just not sold that Juwan Johnson is actually a great player, but they paid him like he is one of the most important tight ends in the league. So I got to think Kellen Moore wants to do something with him and has a vision in mind. I mean, Taysom went down and he didn't get better, but Taysom is certainly not a player you want to take much of with the ACL tear. I don't know. I feel like for Juwan Johnson, I feel a lot better about him in this range than you probably should. But I also felt good about him last year and it just didn't work out. So I might be part of my bias in my head right now. All right, we got a 2.583 here. A lot of different ways to go. You'll see my end game rankings here. I got Darius Slayton pretty high because I think that the Giants are going to get a good QB, and Slayton got major paid to be a boundary receiver to kind of keep guys away from Nabers underneath a little bit. I think they brought him in for a reason. But I've taken a lot of Slayton, so I'm not really dying to go there. Do you like Kendre as sort of your last stab at QB here or at RB here? Again, another guy, more contingent value, but new coaching staff coming in. New coaching staff last year certainly liked him more than Dennis Allen did, so we can live with that. 2683 build here. We still have one more click left. We will do one more draft on stream. You guys will have a shot to draft me. I will try to encourage you guys, though. Let the people who are using the promo code please use the promo code SPLASH on Underdog. Down below, get $1,000 in bonus cash. I'll flash it on screen here. Please use that promo code. If you do that, you can come in as many drafts as you want me. Let me know, and I'll tell you, hey. But I'm also probably going to start tagging in the Discord in general. I have to set it up, but I'll start tagging the Discord when I do a draft because I'm going to let you guys get in with me this year. That's one of the new rules for tuning in late. I'm going to be hands off the wheel here because Underdog is basically encouraging me to encourage you guys to draft me, which not to collude. If we want to do some collusion, let me... but not to collude, let's do gentlemanly drafts here if you can. If you are going to get on stream, don't be a fucking weirdo. Don't try to get in everyone if you can. Let's be normal human beings, but let's try to draft together more. So if you want me to look at your team, especially if you're a member, I'll do it. We'll try to make this a little more of a seamless process here. It's going to be my goal. I'm trying to account for feedback from everybody. It is, in fact, no, not redeposit. Unfortunately, they do nothing for redeposit, only new users. But yes, promo code SPLASH for new users, and for everybody else, yeah. I don't know. If you try it out, Adam, I'm not going to rat you out for sure. I will gladly take your click. I got to convert a lot of people this year, guys, to make this financially viable. So we're going to be tap dancing. I've been thinking about doing 150 BBMs on stream, though that now feels kind of trite. Though I would be the first non-fully white person to do it on stream. I think that'd be the angle. But I'm older than Pete and younger than Neil, so I got no lane there. So it'd have to be first part Italian, Chinese, Asian, Latino person to do 150 BBMs, which, DEI's gone now. I can't do that. I can't do a DEI BBM 150. So it's a tough scene. Love Kendrick to go with the upcoming Saints tank. We'll see. I don't know if they're tanking, man. I think they're going to be able to be competitive with Kellen Moore. I think they're going to be good. First Chinese Latino. But the thing is, I don't have to be that specific. But maybe I could cater to both. I could do a theme where I trust Chinese. Appeal to that audience. Theme where I trust super Latino. Pop a sombrero on. Call it a day. Streamer of color. That would be it. Again, if we hadn't gotten rid of DEI, the first DEI BBM would be functional. A little too many acronyms, but we can make it work. Could do 150 BMs while smoking Kush. I don't know if Underdog would love that. I don't know if that's the brand I want. I'm happy to do it occasionally. I don't want to be high on stream every day. I think that would start to reflect poorly on me. But I don't know, man. It's all up in the air now. But leave me suggestions either in the comments on the video or on Discord. Happy to really hear you guys out on this because I just want to figure out A, content plan that is going to make me happy, but B, going to make sure everybody feels like they're being heard and getting what they want out of it. You guys know the deal. And one more pick coming up here, and then I'll hop to the next draft. Actually, I'm going to start the draft room now. So if you guys want to get into another draft, let me see how many spots there are. But I'm going to do it right now. So I have to wait around too much in between. And of course, it'll be another big board here. 10 spots left. So we can do full friends and family if you want an Underdog. You can use that promo code SPLASH if you're new on there. And I will start doing alerts on Discord rather than just on stream. But hop into the draft if you want. 10 spots remaining on the big board right now. And you can get your name seen on screen and, just be cool. Just keep the vibes high, Keep the vibes nice and high and tight. Like we're trying to get a guy off the plate or get a haircut. Keep it high and tight. MVS getting drafted here. Honestly, MVS, if they don't add anybody else who matters in Seattle, and they have to add somebody, but if they don't, MVS is probably undervalued for a guy who's going to be out there doing annoying things, dropping too much. First and only 150 puppy streamed. I feel like somebody's done that already. Didn't like Hope and Davis Pang do that one year? I feel like that was maybe a stream. I don't know. Beneficial for me to copy what Flock did and charge per team review. Oh, that could be fun. Okay. Yeah, we'll try that. Yeah, charge for if you want your team reviewed here, be a paying member or send in a super chat, and I'll do that. All right. More marathon streams for sure this year. All right. Did Mike Williams go? He did go. Shit. Wanted to take him as my late pairing with Herbert, but that's gone. Yeah, Will Dissly's still available. Chargers could displace him, but he got targeted a ton last year. So if they don't displace him, I think he's interesting. Tight end 4 here. I really don't need another receiver, I think. I feel good about my group. We got Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert here. Also, the other draft still has 6 spots left, guys. If you want to get in, feel free. Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving, Trey Benson, Ray Davis, Marshawn Lloyd, Kendre Miller. At receiver, we've got Zay Flowers, George Pickens, Cooper Kupp, Jalen McMillan, Rashid Shaheed, Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer, and Jalen Royals. And a tight end, McBride, Goddard, Juwan Johnson, Disley. Didn't need the 4th tight end, but I didn't really feel like, at RB, what am I going to take? Jaden Blue, Antonio Gibson, no. Receiver, Ty Felton, I do like, but I don't know. I don't know that I need him here. I feel like I take Ty Felton every draft these days. I'm going to go over here now. 5 spots left. And until you guys fill this room or somebody else does, I'm off the clock, I think. So part of my new contract is like full union worker rules, right? It just gets me off the clock on stream. GAP. 150 BBM streams and BBL strippers. I think that would kill my profit immediately. And also would kill my marriage. Yeah, there we go. $5, $25 minimum. Yeah, $5 minimum super chat. $5 you want your team reviewed on stream. I'll do it. Got to get creative here. We got to increase each part of income I get incrementally this year is the goal. I know. He did ruin a lot of drafts for me. I'm hoping he doesn't catch wind of it through the grapevine. But he did ruin a lot of drafts for me too. Ruined a lot of my joy. It's the worst when you see somebody who's like in every draft room of yours, and then they also like to have no regard for other people in the room and just ruin their teams. There were some teams last year that I had that were like advanced pretty far that were absolutely teams that were drafted with that guy, or against that guy when he was popping into every room I was doing. And it's like, this guy fucking killed. Like there's one in particular where I know I remember, and I went back and watched the stream to confirm it. Took Bateman for me, and I'm like, I really fucking needed Bateman this week on this team. It was not my fave. The little board fill last night. I didn't see it this morning. I don't honestly, I haven't seen little boards in a while. So I'm not really sure. It's only big board, bigger board, and biggest board right now that I see. Hey, waiting for the draft room. 3 more spots left, guys. I'm finally letting you draft with me and we can't fill this room. What are we doing? What is I know it's new rules. I know I've made it hard to you guys for a year, but now I'm hands off. Getting enough here to justify all of you being in every draft room. And we're going to collude on Discord. So people are going to be hopping to the Discord like, all right, so where's the collusion channel? And I'll be like, no, it's not. Actually, thanks for the $5. Go ahead, Chunk. I know you're not going to get in my way. On drafters, you do. Maybe on Underdog, you won't. That's personal choice. So you're welcome to get in. Nolan, I know you'll hop in, Nolan. Nolan's got the bankroll to hop in any draft. If you don't have to tempt him with a good time. Waiting for some good Quentin Grimes talk. Well, Steve, I'll give you a preview. It is in my projections for NBA that are already out if you are a member of the NBA channel, which / MLB channel coming soon. I got Grimes today. I think I have him for 52 again in my first run. Total for Philadelphia is really high today. 116.3 implied points. Yeah, I've got Grimes for 53.5 today. So we're going to die on the hill again. I'll happily play Quentin Grimes on any NBA slate. And for the record, 53.5 DraftKings points, not underdog points. I have something stuck in my nose, and I don't want to keep picking at my nose here. Sorry, guys. 2 spots left. I'm just going to keep this graphic up. 2 spots left. 1 spot left. Because I mean, how can I push the boundaries of whoring here? You won't even see my face. So we're filled. We're filled. We're good. Of course, the big board, you can see it here. You see the $250,000 on the thumbnail. That's what you get if you win first place. Second place was 100 grand. Third place, 75K. Very nice prizes in the big board. The advanced structure as well. 3 people advance. I think it's the exact same as last year. 3 advance out of 12, then 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10. So there's a nice tournament structure having only 10 people in those groups. And we got a lot of friends and family in here. Line of scrimmage, our guy Charlie. We got Chunk the Deuce. We got Adam in here. We got is Dr. the Professor in here? We got Nolan, I know is OMG. Young Moolah? That name sounds familiar. I don't know. Let me know if you're in here. Oh, there we go. GAB's Young Moolah. Thought I've seen your name before. We'll see what we do. And thank you for this one. TD here. Didn't you drop the real first name? TD, my favorite best ball streamer because we think a lot. I can't hop in your rooms. I'll always watch. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And thank you for the kind super chat. It's Siglieri and his 10th anniversary. Thank you for the super chat while doing that. I appreciate it. Lad goes pick 30. Well, let's see. I don't think he's getting past pick 20 here. With Adam picking in that spot would be my guess. CeeDee Lamb at 2? God, this guy needs my rankings. You should be taking CeeDee Lamb at 12, 13. Hate CeeDee Lamb this year. They're going to try to bring in a better wide receiver too, and they're also going to the Brian Schottenheimer offense. Anytime he's had his hands on an offense, it has been the worst offense in football in terms of pass production. They'll run the ball probably pretty effectively, but boy, oh boy, do I not like CeeDee Lamb this year. Taking him at 2 is egregious. Take that man at 12, 13. Take him at least at ADP. Don't take him ahead of Saquon and the RBs and all the good receivers too. Unbelievable. Love drafting with Davis. Oh, that's funny. Well, you can't get any Chiefs in those drafts, so that's the tough part. Is Davis still selling Chiefs? I haven't watched the Davis draft stream lately. But I hope so. Now that Mahomes is so cheap, it's almost disrespectful. Like, that should be the bit. I find it disrespectful that Mahomes is going at like 75 in most rooms. Saquon drafting. That's what'll happen. Always good to buy the guy the year after they had the incredibly good year that got him crazy paid. Do you like the spot for upcoming receivers, though? Any of these 4 guys here would be a happy click for me. I have to start logging into the best ball overlay tool so I can check my exposures more. Because honestly, I don't know where I'm at on these guys offhand. I also do have Drake London a little bit higher than the industry. I think he should go ahead of this tier of RBs just because he's still a good wide receiver click, but it's my stance. Amon-Ra, I have no issue with still. Nabers, I do think has a higher ceiling than Amon-Ra, and I do think Cam Ward is going to be great for him if that is what happens. If it's fucking Winston going there, that's also going to be great for him. I think there's a lot of outcomes right now that are great for Malik Nabers. If they don't get Cam Ward, they're still going to probably have like Flacco, Winston, Russell Wilson as the QB, the last of which would be the least appealing to me. But I think they're all going to feed Nabers well enough. So Nabers in year 2, I think ascendant. Your concern, though, is like the Giants probably not be competitive for a playoff spot. They have a shitty QB. They could start to ramp things down. And Nabers spiked in the playoffs last year, but you could see things get shut down if he's like a star player having a great year and they're just not going anywhere. But that's probably not something you want to worry about in these drafts. Fair amount of CD at 2 and 3. Are they just keeping the rankings from last year and just rolling them forward? Bowers goes at 14 here, so very early. Achane and Jeanty, I do take a lot at this spot. Jeanty to me is the more fun click. I do have Achane ranked a little bit more highly. We did say fun draft. I feel like the first draft was good, but I don't know if it would count as fun. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun and draft Jeanty here. Nabers, Jeanty, young guys only. Saved by the Bell, the new class in this one should be good. Shadur with Nabers and Travis Hunter do money. Nah, I don't see that. I honestly think for them, it's Cam Ward. Love to see them go Dart, but I don't think Dart's their kind of QB necessarily. Dart would be fantastic for Nabers though, because he would air it out for him and Nabers would go up and get that shit. It would be no problem at all. Shedeur to me is like Cleveland. He really should go to Cleveland, especially them adding Pickett. That's exactly the kind of offense that like they're going to make for Pickett that would fit for Shedeur, where it's all accuracy, timing based. I think it's a little tough for me to think Shedeur goes to the Giants. I know they were linked earlier, but I don't buy it. Adam doesn't get Bowers or McConkey in this room. Tough scene. GAB wanted Bowers again. Couldn't get him either. Everybody wants Bowers. I gave you the fun on Bowers, but nobody wants to hear that. I'm in tears. Hopefully not in tears. I don't think Adam cries very much. Be my guess. Not the emotional type. Bashal Tootin at pick 14 be fun. Steam Tootin all the way up. Just raises ADP by another 20 spots for everybody. I just don't get, like, I mean, I get the Tootin thing. Good athlete. Good avoided tackle rate. But, like, you can't be as shifty as he is and have a negative EPA. Like, that's really, to me, a massive red flag. You also can't get stuffed in the run game as much as he did. Like, he and Caleb Johnson are two of the highest guys in the class. Tootin got stuffed in the run. Where are you at, Tootin? 22.4% of the time. Caleb Johnson, 21.3. Nobody else in the class, and this is like with every RB on my list. And you can see it here. I'll show you. Nobody in this list, which you also get, by the way, if you join the Discord, you get all my little rookie data sheets. Nobody in this class here stuffed run rate above 20 besides Caleb Johnson and Bashal Tootin. So what does it tell you? And again, Tootin here, a negative 0.39 EPA per target. He is like effectively taking points off the board when he's getting targeted. I just don't think that's a guy that should be steaming up hundreds and hundreds of picks, but whatever. Lad's a slow white slot. That's true. Honestly, the thing with Lad, he also shouldn't move outside either, but like I would trust him to move outside more than I would JSN. So I would say that for Lad, I would give him a positive, but he is a great slot receiver. Really, I was impressed with Lad down the home stretch. I mean, I think Adam knows this, but most of you guys know this if you followed the channel in season. But like, I thought Lad did a lot last year that made me feel comfortable enough to click him. I'm certainly at least with the field on Lad, I think, at this point. I'll check in another tab. Exposures. No, you know what? I'm not with Lad at all. I've got 3% Lad. I really feel like I've been clicking him a lot, which I guess for me, I have. Oh, God. Well, look at my exposures after this video. I should keep myself more honest about my exposures, if I'm being real. You let Jaden Daniels fall to 48. I'd love all of you. I don't know if I'd buy that. At this point, adding Jaden on top of this team would be pretty fun. I think we've got some good boys here. I see. I don't think you factor into my view in him now. I think I'm just not taking receiver a lot in that spot, and I don't think I'm really picking in those spots very often so far. But I thought Lad impressed me last year. I thought he looked a lot more like Tank Dell down the home stretch than Tank Dell did for most of last year. So we'll look at Lad's numbers in a minute. 0-1-1 here. Receiver getting a little bled out. I do like Worthy, but I don't know. I don't know about Worthy here. I'm just going to do Zay again. Let's say Kyren is one of these clicks. A little bit of an ADP discount. He is a very sturdy RB here. And again, we'll have a build where we can be a little more flexible at receiver. Interesting. I was more impressed with Loud than I was with Bowers. I think I would agree with that. Especially in the playoffs, or that run up to the playoffs too. But in the playoffs itself, like he really, you knew he was coming and he did the job that he's supposed to do. And that's really one of the hardest things to do. And really any sport, like that's the thing with Quentin Grimes right now in the NBA, guy we were talking about before. But like whenever you have to become like you're not, accustomed to be the one everybody's putting the attention on, and you start to become that and your most high leverage spots, and he did it really well. I think that he deserves a lot of respect for that. And he certainly, gained in value for me because of it. All right, so Lamar's here. Jaden Daniels goes at 35, so not going to grab him. I think we need another receiver out of this group. This is like a tough spot to be taking your wide receiver too. Because I think it's pretty clearly Zay again. Like, how would you take a wide receiver 2 over a functional wide receiver 1? I'm going to go Zay again. Zay has always been a comfortable click for me. he did hurt me in the big board a little bit last year. Like, he didn't have enough upside. There was one game too where he put up like the 100 yards in the playoffs and he didn't score a touchdown, and that was also not my favorite either. I don't know. I guess I just like Zay. Zay is like a really cozy click for me right now as wide receiver 1, I guess, if I'm behind the 8 ball there, wide receiver 2 in this kind of build where we took some RBs. So we have a start here with Malik Nabers, Ashton Jeanty, Kyren Williams, Zay Flowers. We got to get it going. That's how it looks. Jaden QB1 in this room. That's true. Dude, love to see it. I think it's deserved. I mean, to me, like, I have Allen ranked right next to Lamar, both ahead of Jaden. I think I have it's weird. I actually have my rankings, I believe, are Josh Allen, Lamar, Marvin Harrison Jr., and then Jaden, which does not feel like the way that should go. So I'm probably going to make it. I probably will knock Harrison down one more spot. I think it's a logical 1, 2, 3. But, you know, for Jaden, I don't know. He was great at everything last year. I don't know how he can't get better with it besides Washington fucking it up somehow. But it is Washington. Our Lad McConkey last year, 0.5 EPA per target on an ADOT of 10.2. So really reasonable ADOT, moving the sticks with every target, theoretically. 24.5% target per route run feels like it should be higher given how bad that offense was overall besides him. And the fact that, you know, being the slot guy, you expect a higher target route or target per route run. 0.6 red zone targets a game is also not where you want to be long-term. You're getting into that kind of Hunter Renfrow tier for that, which I know is the comp that Adam in particular doesn't want to hear. But like when you're kind of a slot guy and you're not really getting the work in the red zone enough, that's not it. But look, a 0.5 EPA for a slot guy in the NFL is like a good number. I mean, JSN last year for comparison, I think that's kind of a similar comp. He had a 0.29 EPA per target, and closely, I would say Seattle's offense, Chargers offense, at the very least 1-to-1 in terms of, you know, them being good or not. Supposed to be like a slot of note. Puka does play out wide enough, but he is kind of that guy. Puka, 0.43 EPA per target, 39% target per route run, though, so he was getting fed at a level. He was getting fed at like Tyreek 2 years ago levels. But to be in that range for Lad, I think is a good thing. So, look, I have no critiques of him, really. Half-point PPR still feels a little bit less beneficial for him than like a DraftKings would, but, you know, he'll get touchdowns. I drafted a bunch of Derrick Henry this year, not so far now. I honestly don't take RB. If I take an RB in that spot, it's usually one of Jeanty and Achane because they're usually there. Henry, I've only taken once so far in a big board, it looks like, out of about 37 or 32 drafts. Is that right? I thought it was at 37. Oh, you know what? It hadn't updated. All right, hold on. Let's look at it again. Derrick Henry I've taken twice out of 38 drafts. So a 5% exposure rate. So yeah, I'm not really there. I have more Hunter Henry, his brother, Hunter. But yeah, no, I have no issue with Derrick Henry, really. It's just if you have a choice between young ascending backs, theoretically, and also for Achane, a guy who really got involved in the pass game in a way that, again, probably helps more on DraftKings than it does Underdog. But still, like, you know, Achane getting that share of the pass game, I think is honestly a big reason why Tyreek and Waddle were kind of not there. There's no reason to expect Achane to get less of that. And now you're getting Mostert out, and like you're probably kind of consolidating goal line work, or hopefully they're not going to bring in another back that could kind of be upsetting to that. That's it for Henry. Nobody's going to come in. It's going to upset things for Henry. So I wouldn't begrudge you taking Henry over Achane, I guess. Let's see. All right, we got a click coming up here. Oh, yeah, Dak did go at 47, huh? Well, the guy took CeeDee Lamb at 2, so at that point, you got to make sure you stack him up. Because CeeDee Lamb, if he's going to be the top 2, player overall this year, I mean, Dak's going to find value. Sure, you could wait the 80 picks till he comes up naturally, but get him out of the way now. I do like Chris Olave. We will take him here. Easy click. You get Kellen Moore coming in, you can talk me into anything. You can talk me into Kendre Miller. You can talk me into Olave. You can talk me into Shaheed, who I took last draft. Juwan Johnson, I took last draft. No issues for me with old Chris Olave at 58. 58 going after a guy who might have a 4-game suspension. Yeah, we'll take that. We'll take that. Could use another receiver here, and there is another one that I like a lot. Juwan Jennings, come on down. Ooh, baby, we're hitting pockets today. Jeanty and Kyren. Kyren, one of the best red zone roles in football. Jeanty hopefully will develop one for himself. Malik Nabers, who we're hoping is on the upswing. Zay Flowers, who we got because we were a little panicked at receiver. Need to get the best guy in. We got Chris Olave, Juwan Jennings. Juwan Jennings was such a great targeter last year in a way that frankly makes very little sense and will probably flatten out a little bit more. But Jennings last year led the Niners with a 29% target route run rate. 0.3 EPA was ahead of Ayuk's 0.17, Debo's 0.1. Pearsall's probably higher, right? No, Pearsall was at a 0.2, so he was the highest volume guy, biggest turn-earning guy, also most efficient player. So for Jauan Jennings, to me, I think it's very much wheels up this year. The Niners defense also getting appreciably worse, losing a lot of guys, not adding enough talent in. We'll see what they do in the draft, but Jauan Jennings, I think a great click, anywhere above 60 right now. Let's see. Why take CD at number 2 and Ladd is still on the board doesn't make sense. That's true. Very similar players. The guy who was perma injured at Georgia was hurt in the NFL. Shocker, sure. Debated Kamara and okay. Malik Nabers and Gibbs feel like the 2 guys in the first round can potentially break fantasy this year. I'm not sure about the Gibbs part. You still need to get Montgomery out of the way there. I think Gibbs, to me, I'll take Gibbs because like you still want the upside. And if you do, ice Montgomery gets hurt again, which is at his age, certainly a possibility. Like Gibbs will look a lot better. But, you also don't know what the change in offensive coordinator is going to do there. Maybe they'll run a little bit less. They certainly were still willing to pass in the red zone last year enough. I don't know. I'm not as sold on Gibbs at that ADP as I am. Like Bijan, I think, can have an all-time NFL year at some point, especially that Atlanta offense keeps improving like I think it will under Penix. With you on Nabers, but like that entire pocket of receiver up there, like I like Nico a lot. I think I worry a little bit about the Texans bringing in a guy who's, formerly a tight end coach, but, he was also a passing game coordinator for the Rams. So like, he's got some bona fides here to make this a better passing offense. Like I like Nico, like Brian Thomas a lot. Think that Liam Cohen's gonna get the most out of him. Nabers, I think a new QB will get the most out of him. Dable could be a little bit of a, an oppressor there. Amon-Ra feels like we've seen the best already. Drake London, I'm not sure we've seen the best. And I think the way that Penix fed him down the home stretch would give me a lot of hope. So, like, I don't think Nabers would be a guy I would take over everybody else there. Like, I don't know that he's going to be locked into this legendary year more than anybody else. Brian Thomas, too, like, really showed me a lot down the home stretch last year. He got what I was hoping for him. As like, I was worried about with Jacksonville, where he was coming to this crowded receiving corps. They were just going to use him one way. And that's how the year started. And then by the end of the year, he was getting used everywhere. He was getting fed like a beast. He should be able to, I don't know, take a big leap this year. Let's see what we got this next pick whenever. There we go. Matthew Golden going at 81, right where I got him ranked. 0240 build for me. Nothing we need to do at QB yet. Not the greatest RB pocket. Not the greatest receiver pocket either. Ugh. I really do not like the spot. I think I'm going to take Cup again. I haven't taken much Cup this year. I don't think. Let me confirm that. I had 10% Cup after that last draft, so we're okay with that. I think Cup's ADP is a little bit too low still. I think he comes up a little, so I can live with this as wide receiver 5. Jeanty, Kyren Williams, Malik Nabers, Zay Flowers, Chris Olave, Jauan Jennings, Cooper Kupp. I was really thinking about Hawkinson there. Think that he'd be a nice tight end click. Feel like he showed enough last year with how he played. And I do think McCarthy will rely on him a little bit more to kind of get himself where he needs to go. 0.2 EPA per target, not fantastic. 21.6% target per route runs. We'll say 22. Not fantastic. 0.9 red zone targets a game. He caught none of them. Not great either. Hawkinson comes back. I think Jalen Warren could be a better click here. Bo Nix, we could start taking some receivers next time out. I think I'm going to go Warren. I don't love this ADP for Warren just because I think if you bring in a rookie, he probably goes back to the 100s. Like a rookie who matters, and I think Pittsburgh will take a rookie of note. But a 0350 build here. We got Jeanty, Kyren, and Jalen Warren. That feels like a really nice nice RB start. Receiver, Nabers, Flowers, Olave, Jennings, Kupp. I think it needs a 6th receiver who can pop. I don't mind the group. I like Nabers being my wide receiver 1. I can live with that. I like this build. I'm just a little worried about sticking the landing, but we'll see. pretty actively not good last year. They also weren't really getting the ball towards the end of last year. I think things just kind of fell apart and they all knew it. That's what it is. Golden feels like he go ahead of Tet. I love Golden. I'm not sold on Golden. He was only a 20% target per out run guy last year overall at Texas. Obviously did spike in the playoffs, so like you do want to give him a little bit of a bonus for that. I mean, he is fast, but yeah, 20.8% target per out run. For comparison, Worthy was at, I think, 28% rounded up last year. So not really good enough to feel like you're going to get a real target earner. I think he'll get the draft capital, but he, like, to me, I would get why he could go ahead of Tet for a certain team. I just don't think he should. Like, Tet is a legit target earner. He's not a burner, but he's like the kind of guy who always, not to say excel, but at least succeeds to some extent in the NFL if you're going to give him volume. Golden, I don't know that he can even earn volume. That would be my concern, but he'll go first round, so I have no issue with Golden. I would agree that perhaps Tet shouldn't be almost 40 spots ahead of Golden. That's probably wrong. I feel like if Tet were 65 and Golden were 80 and Igbuka were 80, that'd be a little bit closer to me. Golden's 40 time the combine's doing a lot of work. That's always the case, but you were absolutely right about that. How do you feel about Hunter as a wide receiver 5 in a room of Nabers, JSN, MHJ, Adams? I think he's okay. I'm still not sold that he's going to get enough time overall to be worth his ADP. Like, I think it's good that he did, kind of put out the PR for, trying to say like, hey, I want to play on both sides of the ball. Like, doing that early is an important thing because if he doesn't fight it, the team's just going to put him wherever they want to put him. And he clearly that I think from what I've heard from saying interviews, I think he wants to be treated like he's Ohtani in the NFL. And I don't think he's going to quite get that run out of opportunity, but I think he's a good receiver. Like, I think he's one of the better outside wide receiver prospects in the class. He's not a slot guy. And if I've said this before, but like anybody you hear do analysis where like Travis Hunter was such a great slot at Colorado, he barely ever played in the slot. He was mostly outside and he was great outside. He's like a legit receiver who can get shit done. I think that you would want to play him there, but you're probably talking about him being your guy who rotates in as like wide receiver 3 for most teams. He's playing more snaps at corner. I don't know what you're getting at ADP, but as wide receiver 5 in that group, you could take it. And again, if you want a guy, you got to take him wherever they go. But, he really like in the 150s when he was going there, it's like, that's an easy click. 100 to 120s, it's a little bit tough. You're absorbing a lot of risk. Would not take shots on Gallup. Whatever Gallup can do is really duplicative of Terry McLaurin, and he's probably a worse version of Noah Brown. I don't think Gallup has anything left. He didn't at Dallas a couple of years ago. He had even less with the Raiders from what we saw before he retired last year. I don't think that's a click. All right, we're on the board here with a 0-3-5-0. We do need to start to think about QB at some point, but we do have a little bit later coming up. And I think Purdy went already, which is kind of aggressive. Jonnu is a nice little discount at this point. And honestly, he was great last year. I can live with that. Johnny Smith, our tight end, going about 10 picks after ADP. We didn't take Achane in the beginning, so I think maybe a little bit of theoretical leverage on that. Pretty big stance here that Igbuka is the best wide receiver in the class, that JSN will be a 1-2 turn guy next year. I don't know that I see it personally. That doesn't mean it's wrong. JSN would have to have so JSN has a couple things running against him. Number one, you are adding Kupp in, you're going to displace him where he's naturally going to be the best, which is out of the slot. Number two is that Sam Darnold might not play at the end of the year. If Seattle's not competitive for a playoff spot, they could bench him for injury guarantees. He's in the same spot that Russ has been in, that Daniel Jones has been in. We keep seeing happen every year. And like, I ignored it last year for Jones. It was a bad idea. That's not great. I think JSN is frankly overpriced right now at 25. If he had a monster year, he would go up. But to me, he's like more, I don't know. He should at the very least be, I think, in this range now that Kupp is there. But I don't know. I also wasn't like the craziest about JSN last year, so I could be compounding that. 0-3-5-1 here. ATN wouldn't be bad. Get a little share of Liam Cohen stuff. And we got really nothing we have to take at QB at this point. I'll go ATN. I think it's easier for me to click Bigsby lately. It's also possible that neither guy gets the role. But the fact we're importing this Liam Cohen offense that really did rely on the run pretty aggressively, get a lot of results with it as well. I'm in on that for this year too. So 0-4-5-1 build. We got Jeanty, Kyren, Jalen Warren, Travis Etienne. I think this could be enough at RB. So Nabers, Flowers, Olave, Jennings, Cup. We lost out on Purdy. I don't even know where Purdy went. Purdy went how early? Purdy went at 100. Okay, so he went right at the spot. I guess just missed it. Would have liked to have gotten Purdy on the team instead of one of these players. I think that would have made me feel a little bit better about my QB situation, but we still have Carr floating around. We do have the Darnold injury guarantee stuff here. We have potentially Cam Ward if I want to go that way, if I believe that's going to be the giant stack. So I'm gonna be okay here. I'm gonna be okay. It's me talking to myself in Reservoir Dogs. Cup signing was strange. It wasn't strange if you're viewing it, and I think this is kind of a wave of teams now, which I don't know that I buy it personally, but I would say for the Josh Palmer signing, for Cooper Kupp coming in and the way that he talked about it, where he was like, oh, JSN played out wide a little bit. He played out wide a very little bit. JSN had 17 targets out wide last year compared to like 100 and something, I think, in the slot. I can look at this really fast. Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. Jackson Smith and Jigba had 17 targets out wide compared to 113 in the slot last year. He was perfectly efficient on his out wide targets, a 0.6 EPA compared to a 0.24 in the slot. But the point is like that's a very small sample size. He barely played out wide, and he was good enough while doing it. Yeah, for some of those guys, like when you have situations like that, like it means the guy is probably not meant to play anywhere besides the slot for the most part. But I think now the NFL might be viewing it kind of like positionless basketball, where it's like, oh, these guys aren't really slot guys. We could play them both in the slot technically and play, one outside receiver, or play these guys on, on the outside of the line and keep it kind of like you have two slots. Or you could just put JSN out wide, see how he does, and that'd be the other way to do that. But I don't know. Like, I think there's a little bit of a shift in the NFL because, like, the Josh Palmer signing to me was really odd because it really is like his skill set for him and Shakir are really fundamentally the same, even though I do think Josh Palmer can move around a little bit more. And then when you see the Cup thing happen the same year, like there's been enough of those that have occurred. Frankly, Worthy with Hollywood, same thing, too. Similar skill sets. Teams going to trot him out there. Pickens and Metcalf, same thing. Like the teams are now maybe changing that a little bit. I don't know that they should. I just think that in general, you want to put guys where they're the best. And I don't know that you're necessarily doing that with Cup and JSN. 0451 build here. Really don't like the click at all. I just don't like a Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniels offense. I don't think it's a good thing for anybody. We're going to take Drake May, though. I was obviously not team Drake May last year. I was also not team Drake May in the last draft. I know there's a lot of sharp people that have liked him. I think he's still a prospect that can get there. I think the way that things are aligning for him, and obviously it's easy to make this comparison, you're getting closer to him being Adam just put it in too. You're getting closer to him being Tannehill as opposed to him being Jaden Daniels. And I don't think that's what you want to see. So I don't love the Drake May situation and the way it's developing for them. The defense is going to be so much better, but you know what that means? They're going to not be as aggressive on offense. Drake May running for more touchdowns, I think is a possibility. And that's still a nice little fail safe. But at this range, I'd rather have Justin Fields. So I worry a lot about Drake May this year. But he is easy to backstack. That is true. How do you feel about Ayuk? Don't know what to expect. I would take your shots because he has to either get traded to somewhere that then is paying an impossible amount of money to him. They're going to be feeding him. He also wasn't as bad as it seemed last year. They just didn't really give him enough opportunity / he got hurt so early that you didn't see the better side of him. But I do think Juwan Jennings played better than him last year. And I do think that Jennings also earning targets at an appreciably higher rate is not a great sign for Ayuk. With how much they're paying him, though, like if they can't find a trade partner, he is going to be there and he'll get played well. And like, it'll be him and Jennings playing most of the wide receiver sets, then Pearsall coming in for 3 wide receiver sets. And that's fine with where he's going. Like, he's probably too cheap at his ADP. We've got a 1-4-5-1 build here. We got QBs coming up a little bit later that could work. We do have a little bit of a value at tight end now with Tucker Kraft falling. Like it as wide receiver 6 would not be a bad thing either, but I'm going to go Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft beat out Luke Musgrave last year. I didn't think that was necessarily going to be the case. I also did have some priors on Musgrave being an interesting player because at Oregon State, he was targeted so much downfield in the way that would be really fun to have a tight end get targeted in the pros. but he just hasn't come together. He has flashed a little bit, but Tucker Kraft showed so much more. And also, too, like much like a Brock Bowers, much like I expect from Tyler Warren this year, show that he can get short targets, turn them into a lot. And that's a really important skill for a tight end. And for a Green Bay team that's going to be looking for target earners this year, I think Kraft is a really nice click at 120 of he's going after ADP. I'm getting him at 135. I think he's a fantastic click here. So Tucker Kraft is it for me. Let's see. How does that make, does it make you interested in more Ramondre? I don't trust that Ramondre will be the lead back there, but I do think he's worth clicks. I was taking him in the 90s a little bit more. I'm not sold that he holds that job. He was, I think, better last year or better this past year than he was the year before last. Let's see where he landed. Ramondre, negative 0.16 EPA per rush, negative 0.07 EPA per pass. 17% avoided tackle rate is not bad at his volume, getting about 16.3 instead of touches a game. 2.7 red zone touches a game is pretty good, or red zone runs. Actually, 3.4 overall, including targets. So, yeah, Ramondre workload is not bad. I'm just not sold that Vrabel will be his guy. It's the same thing as any ambiguous coaching situation. Like when you have new coaches coming in, whether it's a new head coach and new OC or just new OC coming in, you run the risk of the previous back getting displaced. But Ramondre got that contract last year, so I think he gets a shot at the backfield. But with how many rookies there are, like I think, and this is me not being a lover of a lot of the rookies overall, because I just don't think they're all like great prospects. But if you get Caleb Johnson going to New England, if you get DJ Giddens, RJ Harvey going to New England, I could list honestly a bunch of guys who I don't really like that much. If you get Cam Scattaboo going to New England, oh boy, they would at least that could be really fun. If you, God forbid, you get Hampton going to New England, you get Jeanty going to New England, there's just a lot of guys that can come in there and easily displace Ramondre. And that could be guys down the pecking order. That could be guys up the pecking order. So that's your fear for Ramondre, but you take him as your RB4 or whatever. I don't have an issue with that. Fun tight end prospect appears to mean terrible fantasy ass in the NFL. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's tough. Like Harold Fannin, I think can still work out, but you want him to go somewhere that's like smart. You don't want to see him go to, again, New England. Like you don't want to see him go to some offense where you don't really believe in the people there. But if somebody takes, Harold Fannin in the third round, I think I would go like, all right, they probably see something for him. Tight end is just harder to prognosticate. Like Ben Siddett, I did defend. I also just didn't see the Zach Ertz thing coming as much as I should have. It's hard to get there if you get the draft capital at tight end, and that's the tough part. Unless you're a first-round guy, and even then, it could not work out. Javonte Williams at 153, that is tough. I don't know why he's so far ahead of Miles Sanders. Not that Miles Sanders is good, but neither is Javonte. We got Cam Ward here. I think he's your Giants QB for the year, so I'm going to take him. So you can see I have him ranked at 144. His ADP is 158. I believe he goes QB1. I think he's your starter for either Tennessee or the Giants trading up. Maybe some mystery team, I guess. Cam Ward was great. He also is a really efficient runner. Didn't run at enough volume. He's not Jaden Daniels, but like when he did run, he made that shit count. Love the way he throws. Love his film. Love the EPA stuff. Plus EPA thrower at every level. Not a Jaden prospect, but I think in that tier for me of a Stroud rookie year, Jaden as a passer, again, not as good, but he's in that realm. So Cam Ward to me, I think he is a very good click. And I like him a lot if you get Nabers with him. Or if you get him with Slayton as a bailout / Theo Johnson. Got Rashad White here. Tillman, I don't mind. I do like Wicks more than the public this year. Last year, they way overpriced him. This year, he is very live to be on the field a shitload and probably due for positive regression, all things he was bad at last year, including the dropsies. So Wicks to me as wide receiver 6. I think we got a really nice click here, and we have another little stack without the QB, which is another thing that I do want to do more of this year, making bets on offenses that we know we can sort of corner a market at least a little bit, maybe ping pong some guys and not have the QB with it. I feel pretty okay about it. Let's see. Titans would probably take a wide receiver day 2 to pair with Tennessee if they don't trade down. I mean, for Tennessee, what they should do, trade down, get Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, get Jackson Dart round 2, or trade back into the end of round 1 to get him if that's where I think things are going to go. And it's possibly goes higher, but I think you have a good shot of pulling that off. I would try to do that. And then I think they should take a Trey Harris later on too. I think that'd be a nice little combo platter for them. Because then you could play partial time Travis Hunter. You could add another legit guy alongside Ridley. You could also add somebody else receiver later, but I think Trey Harris and Dart, keeping them together would be pretty fun. And they played at Ole Miss, not too far from Tennessee. Maybe sell some tickets. From how you're talking, I've had Ward over Williams in May last year. I would have had him over May, not Williams. Yeah, I mean, definitely over May. Definitely over May. Let me look at Cam's numbers real fast. So Cam Ward last year, 80% catchable ball rate is good, but not great. Definitely, I think a little bit behind Jaden was the year before. Also not quite as good as Shador was there. 72% on target rate, also not great. A little behind Shador. Shador is a more accurate guy. Good EPA per dropback, though. 0.26 EPA per dropback. 0.29 EPA per pass. That's good. Plus EPA at every level. Not as good of a downfield thrower as Jaden. He's also about half the downfield thrower as Caleb was. So I would definitely have Caleb ahead of him. But the accuracy / the positive EPA stuff and also the run stuff here, like 24% avoided tackle rate, 9 yards per rush, 0.8 EPA per rush. I think Cam Ward would have easily been ahead of May for me. But that I know I'm probably alone on that. A lot of very smart people like May. I'm not, Pat Green, I think, is probably the one who beat the drum the most. Give him the full credit if he wants it for it. I get why people like May. I just think he's got a lot more flaws than people realize. And I think we saw him last year. I think you missed the point, Mitch. I actually talked about getting that contract that I wanted earlier in the video. So I got my deal. Thanks, Mitch. But you can leave the channel. See ya. How much did I talk honestly about a thing that I wanted to get and then I got? Yeah, I talked candidly about negotiating with Underdog throughout the process to keep the audience aligned here. The fact I knew that there were some people, there was a little few more dislikes in the videos this run in the big board, because I think there's a few people like Mitch here who got like really butthurt about the fact that I wasn't doing streams every day so they can like take my thoughts and like make them for their drafts or whatever. And I'm sorry if you feel betrayed by that. I have to negotiate for myself to make money. So, like that's my priority generally. So I'm sorry if you feel that way, Mitch, but also I got what I wanted and I announced it in the beginning of the video. So it's a weird time to say that, but whatever makes you happy. Strapping for another year, guys. They always are. And the thing too is like you have to be subscribed to the channel to chat. So it's silly, but again, if you're, I think there were a portion of people that watched my videos who felt like betrayed by me not doing the content immediately. And it's like, yes, I still did drafts. I still paid attention to everything, still participate in the Discord and whatever. But like when you're negotiating, you shouldn't give away everything you do for free if you want to be paid somewhat what you're worth. So that's what I did for myself. I would encourage you, whatever career you have in life, you should hopefully have some idea of what your value is. And you should try to get the companies you work with, whether it's one company as a full-time employee or many companies, to get them to pay you what you're worth and what the market tells you you're worth. So if you find that to be something that you're going to be a dick about, you might just be a moron. That's what I would say to Mitch the moron. But that's that. But I do feel bad for people who feel like I didn't give them enough content this year. I know we lost some members or whatever because I wasn't doing streams every day, but I was as open as I could be about it. I don't know what to tell you. But thank you, Steel City Blue. I appreciate it. Yeah, it wasn't everything. I'm not getting rich off the steal, but it's enough for me to feel like I can do the work that I have to do here on stream, which is all you're asking for. You just want to be valued. If you don't want to be valued as an adult man, I don't know what the fuck you're doing in life. How dare you make money? How dare you make money when, by the way, like so many people make more money on this stuff who also like do less. Like just not even talk about best ball people, like the people I worked with at Barstool who are getting bags from Underdog. Like it's not the most fun thing in the world, but it is what it is. You negotiate and you try to land in the middle ground and hopefully you find something that works. But if you can't handle me being candid about stuff, if you just want me to be a Stepford wife on stream every day, it's probably not the channel for you. I get annoyed. I am a real human being, and I try to get paid accordingly. Anyway, if you're mad like Mitch, don't subscribe down below. But if you're anybody else, subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. I've said it for years and I firmly believe it, and it's just who I am, but I try to be the realest person in this entire game for you guys, both talking about the data itself, the sports itself, the gambling itself, but also talking about like what I go through with these kind of things and like the highs and lows of both streaming and drafting teams and just football, and now football and NBA and NFL. Like this is, and excuse me, and MLB. This is what I'm doing across everything. And then you could see what I'm doing every day here and do the work. And that's what I get joy out of here. So if you want to come along for the ride, please subscribe. Go check out the NBA channel as well at Splashplay NBA. Probably going to be changing that channel name soon because I don't know what to change it to be honest. Because it's going to be covering NBA and MLB, and maybe at some point, if I ever feel really frisky PGA, that's what we're doing. We got a pick coming up here. 3-5-6-2 obviously needs more receivers. Restrepo, I do like, but we've made this Cam Ward Giants bet. And I will say for my big board teams last year, one thing that I did well was identifying the rookie landing spots early. So I had a ton of Jaden McLaurin stacks in the big board. I know some other people did too. So I wasn't like the most unique character in the world doing it. But I do think that's something where if you can identify, you think Cam Ward goes to the Giants, you think he goes to Tennessee, maybe you could hit them both. You could take a Ridley and a Slayton or a Nabers. That could work. But yeah, I think that's where we are right now is trying to figure out what these rookies are going to go to. So Cam Ward theoretically stacked up with Nabers, stacked up with Slayton, maybe a late Theo Johnson click. Who knows? Who knows? Ward's a Titan. I think the Titans want to trade. Really do think they want to trade. And when criticizing you on this does not have a spouse or kids, have to provide. That's true, especially, you know, for stuff like this, like YouTube views alone, unless you're really creating populist content, they don't do enough. Like that's the reality of it. So I'm not creating populist content, I create very niche content, which is my choice. We got Marshawn Lloyd here for another safe click. Do you want to start getting more Eli Mitchell in? I think that he is at this point a better version of Kareem Hunt they're bringing in. Obviously, they are bringing Kareem Hunt back. One thing I've not mentioned on stream, which I hadn't actually seen until I was doing my rankings, did you guys know that Isaiah Pacheco had a 5% avoided tackle rate last year? You know how bad you have to be at football to have a 5% avoided tackle rate? I know he got hurt. I know like all these things happen. There was still a month before he got hurt that he was out there and playing, and like, I don't think it was that bad at that point because I feel like I would have noticed it, but he was so fucking dead in the water. They paid Mitchell more money. He could obviously get hurt again, get fucked up. I think that's when Kareem Hunt would come back in and do his shit. But like if he gets that Kareem Hunt role, if Mitchell does, and Pacheco is the same kind of dust ball he was last year, Mitchell is way too undervalued right now. I like taking some of the young guys here. Like give me an Estime. Damian Martinez, I think is an interesting power back in a class where there aren't any. But Hunt's over Mitchell, I just personally wouldn't do. Splash Play Sports, that was it. Or like Splash Play Live. I don't know. I was thinking something like that. Splash Play Streams, who knows? We're mad because we are under the Spags tilting while drafting. That's fair. I'm going to try to tilt less this year, though I guess I probably won't. But I don't know. I really don't know what to give people what they want. Like last year was me just really gambling on stream, trying to keep my stream rooms normal. This year, whatever you guys want to do, if you want to join in on stream, I'm going to be hands off the wheel and just take it as I get it. And just try to enjoy the drafts. But for me, you know, I feel confident enough having now streamed for multiple years and produced the streams live. I think I build good teams on stream. Like you know, all my big board teams were streamed last year, and that was one of the best advance rates I ever had. Obviously, it's a different advance structure, and definitely the best final rate I have, having 3 finalists out of a 60 teams. So I think I could keep doing. I think I can survive in streams. I think now that I've been streaming for 3 years, I think I could say I could survive in streams. Splash and Cash with Spags, Slate Splash. I don't want to rename it entirely. It's just going to be like at Splash Play something. Like at Splash Play, I don't know. Like at Splash Play DFS, I think is it. But like I want people still to come for prop betting stuff because obviously that'll be a part of that too. But I don't know. NFL will always be here. I'm not going to like split it up like that. But it's going to be NBA and MLB over there, and I guess whatever else. And NBA best ball, MLB best ball, if I start doing that, will be over there as well. Probably have 0% Pacheco. I've taken him a few times because I think the price tag, like there's still something there. But when I saw those numbers, it's like he's got to be priced to me like 110. Like there's got to be more downside to it. I get that he was, you know, going top 40 last year, and it almost seemed like he'd be worth in the beginning of the year because he was kind of getting there despite his own inefficiency. Then he got hurt, and then obviously that went away. I think there's still a bit of an ADP tethering to it where I think he's not low as he should be with how badly he played last year. And And I love to give injured guys grace. I probably do that more than anybody in the industry, but I don't know how you could be that bad. And he was like a low 80, a low draft capital guy coming in anyway. So maybe he just had his window of time and now it's gone. That also happens in the NFL more than people realize. I feel like they've addressed RB. If you bring in Mitchell, you bring back Hunt. Like that's how the Chiefs can address him. They could obviously draft a guy too, I guess, but I think it's already been drafted. With Pacheco, I don't have the split stats like that. I'd have to dig in a little bit more. In the beginning of the year, I don't recall seeing anything that was that bad. I assume he's probably like 12 to 15%, which is, like your Mixon tier, your Saquon tier. Guys who get a ton of volume usually don't have like endless juice and avoid a tackle rate. But like 5% would be one of the lowest marks. I mean, Michael Carter last year was at 9%. Tony Pollard was at 12%. CeeDee Lamb is not an RB, and he was at 7%. So it was a really bad run out. Whittington's still here at this point. I don't think feels like a bad click. We were correlated. We got to take a New England guy at some point. I like Theo too. I'll take Whittington though. This is cheap for him. He's not really the wide receiver 3, but if one of Puka or Adams goes down, Whittington is probably your contingent value. I think at pick 226, he's probably too cheap, given that his ADP is 197. So that's a lot if you're taking Whittington. I don't feel great about it. And frankly, all I really did was probably flip Slayton and Whittington here. So I don't really know if I gained a lot on that. No, not any drafts yet, thank God, but we'll see. I'm sure now that I've said the rooms will be open this year, he'll find his way in because he thinks he's a part of the gang. We got Theo Johnson, Noah Gray, Chig here is my tight end choices. This is round 20 as well. Do you think a third tight end makes the most sense? Wouldn't mind the 9th receiver. We didn't get any New England stacking. I feel like I should have taken Hunter Henry at some point, but just didn't see him come up. Butte, I'm just not sold. Keeps the role year to year. I'm going to go Theo as tight end 3. Freak athlete. Didn't show enough in his rookie year, but I think he can get better. So our final team here is a 3-6-8-3. We got Drake May, I think unstacked, barring something weird happening with somebody that is on the team already. Cam Ward, Derek Carr is our QBs. We got Ashton Jeanty, Kyren Williams, so I think a pretty good group up top. Kyren, again, one of the better red zone roles in football, even though the upside certainly not as high as other guys in that early RB drafting area. And Jeanty, who might be this year's Marvin Harrison, but at RB, still think he's worth a shot. Jalen Warren, Travis Etienne, Austin Eckler, Elijah Mitchell to round out the RB room. So we spent at RB early, got 1-2 mid-tier guys. Really didn't need to spend a lot late. Nabers, Zay Flowers, Chris Olave stacked up with theoretically Cam Ward stacked up with Nabers. Olave stacked up with Derek Carr. Juwan Jennings, Cooper Kupp, Dontavian Wicks, who I think is greatly undervalued. Darius Slayton, Jordan Whittington here for free. And Jonnu Smith, Tucker Kraft, and Theo Johnson at tight end. Pretty good values in all those guys except for Theo, and Theo will hopefully stack up with our QB. So that's the video for today, guys. So almost 2 hours here. Again, if you missed the beginning of the video, you can scroll back, but 2 big announcements. My rankings are officially out. So if you want to get those for yourself, either the readable version where I put in about 100 plus, well, really, and at this point already, 125 plus blurbs. At some point, there'll be like 300 to 400 on there. Of course, updating the rankings in real time as much as I can throughout the week when I see things I want to move. That's down below. If you join and hit the Squirt Squad tier, you can get access to that immediately along with the Discord, which I'm going to give you that full screen asset one more time. Now look at that. Join the Discord, but also get my rankings with it if you join one of the higher tiers. If you just want to get in the Discord, though, really do it. I love the chat we have here. Would love to have more of you guys on a regular basis in a Discord. And if you haven't been in Discord before, it's just a fucking chat room. It's just a chat room. And it's in there too. And it's also a place where, like, if something breaks in news, I do usually immediately try to hop in, post a tweet or whatever and go like, I think this means this. And if you really care about my takes about stuff, you can get them in there. And of course, a lot of other sharp guys that you know from the community in there as well. We're trying to build that up, especially if you're already paying for the channel. Make sure to get in there because that is an important thing. Make sure to also check out Underdog. $1,000 in bonus cash on there. If you haven't deposited before, please do. Really, the only way this channel can keep moving in the right direction and keep guys like Mitch shut up is continuing to grow here every day. And of course, making sure we're reaching new people with that $1,000 deposit bonus on Underdog. One day I'll get better at promoting Underdog too, but do check it out. If you really enjoy this content, that is your one way to do it. Get a friend to sign up. Do whatever you want to do, but get in that game, bet some money on there, and draft on stream with me, especially if you are a promo code SPLASH user. And thank you to all the paying members. I updated. There we go. Shouts to the Squirt Squad. Of course, all you guys who support the channel, especially you guys who've hung on here throughout this, honestly, a prolonged negotiation period, trying to make sure I'm doing the best I can for myself and for the growth of this channel and what we're trying to do here. And that is always the focus for me, is like, what can I do to add value to you guys while still making myself happy with what I'm doing every day? The NBA channel is a big part of that. MLB stuff coming up is a big part of that. And best ball this year, what I'm changing around is going to be all for that same goal of making this channel better and more enjoyable and more fun for you guys and for me. So strap in here. Of course, gamble responsibly, guys, even though it is always money time on this channel. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow this show at Splash Play Pod. And I'll be back in soon. Hit the notification bell. Definitely at least Friday next week, but I might throw one more on when I finally officially paper my deal. But we're locked in anyway. So I'll be doing that soon. I'll see you guys again. Enjoy your days. And there you go. Peace sign. Good luck. Bye-bye.